Thanks, Travis.
You.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Oops. Started the stream possibly a little early.
Oh, that's fine. Hello. Hi,
We'll
everybody.
all live.
Hello.
Uh,
Hi,
how's everybody out
everybody.
there in internet land? We are the players for a new game that we're going to be doing on Monday nights. It's a adventure, which is the pulp adventure setting from Trinity Continuum. They kickstarted a sort of rebooted version of the old game in 2023, and we'll be using those rules to play through an adventure called Temple of the Moon God, which is an appropriately lurid and mysterious story of a strange temple somewhere in the jungles of misty Sumatra. My name's Mike Athey. I'm going to be the GM for this campaign, and I'm joined by three players, Drew, Bep, and Sean. Why don't you guys just give a short introduction for yourselves? Maybe tell us a little bit about your character as well. You don't have to go into great detail, but just enough to get the folks a sense of who you'll be playing tonight. So let's start with Drew. Who are you playing?
Hey, I'm Drew. I've been playing TTRPGs for 30 years. And tonight I am going to be playing Veronica. Why do I forget my character's own last name? Uh, she goes by V, but Veronica Tilford, a second generation, uh, second generation Daredevil, kind of. Even though they don't think Daredevils existed before, without getting into the lore, second generation Daredevil.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that later,
Yeah.
but yeah. So she's sort of our gadget person, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Primarily gadgets and money, but she's
Gadgets and money. That's a good
yes.
combination.
It
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
If it works for Batman, it works for most folks.
Yes, true. Thank you. All right, cool. Thanks, Drew. Glad to have you. Bep, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the character you'll be playing tonight?
Coolio. Well, I'm Beth. I've been playing TTRPGs going on about 6, 7 years. Um, got into games similar to this by starting Vampire and then moving on further in. This is my first time playing anything to do with Trinity, though I'm more familiar with the system it's based on.
Mhm.
And the character I'm playing is Alistair Mallory. Uh, a role-wise a mastermind, but that's very much fueled by anxiety, as he doesn't want to mess up. He kind of has the Indiana Jones style function, but how he does it tends to be a bit more underhanded and sneaky.
Mhm.
And has a specifically he's a mesmerist, so in this case that means a lot of mental abilities or control of the self. And in this case, he uses that to change his face quite literally. So there's a lot
Mhm.
of impersonation and sneaking around in plain sight.
Cool. Yeah. So the mesmerist is another one of those three types that we have portrayed here in our group. It sounds like he's Alistair's going to be our sneaky dude. And then
100%.
Sean, why don't
Hi.
you tell us a little about yourself and the character you'll be playing?
I'm Sean Creef, he, him. I've been playing and running games for only 29 years, so I'm much younger than Drew, apparently, or started older. Um,
Just wait till I
uh,
tell you about my
uh,
mileage.
no, this is Adventure is one of the few Trinity Continuum games I have not either gotten to play or work on.
Hmm,
So I know
cool.
it, but not super well. I did really, really play a lot of the original game back when
Mhm.
it was the whole one book, one and done.
Yeah.
Um, but I am playing Derek Miller, who is totally not has totally not changed his name from Dietrich Müller. He is a first generation Austrian I guess, Austrian Empire immigrant to the United
Hmm.
States, um, who served in World War I for the US. That's why he changed his name. And afterwards, he became something of uh, a cryptid hunter after an encounter with a Sasquatch.
Hmm.
He is a stalwart, but really all he does is not die, which is a good
Right.
thing to have.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, he doesn't
We
have
got
any overt
so
abilities so much.
Master of Disguise, who's sneaky. We've got a person that has money and gadgets, and now we have a person that can't die. How can we lose?
Well, the person
Undefeatable.
that can't die falls in a hole, and then no, sorry,
Oh no.
Let's
falls in a
hope
really
that
deep
doesn't
hole.
happen.
Oh yeah,
Okay, yeah.
no
So,
one watch out for holes. Okay.
so, like I said, I'm Mike, he, him. I'm old. I saw the original Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater when I was like 7, and it kind of burned into my brain and has been kind of a fixation for me for a while. And it's through that that I got into pulp stuff, even before I got into role-playing games. In fact, one of the first role-playing games I played was the somewhat, I would say infamous, Adventures of Indiana Jones game that TSR put out way back when, where you could either play Indy or Wuhan or Jock or Willie Scott or Marion. That was your choice. That was it. Not a lot of people wanted to play that way, but I played a lot of the solo adventures that they put out eventually for it, and still have a lot of affection for it despite its many foibles. I did play OG Adventure back when, as Sean described, they did those sort of one and done books. It was a let's see, they had Aeon, which had a pretty extensive line, and then Aberrant, which had a really extensive line as well, and then Adventure was just sort of the redheaded stepchild who had the one book. But it was still a really good book, and got a lot of fun out of it back in the day. And the new version is all up in the new edition of the Trinity Continuum rules, which are derived from the story path rules. And they've done some, smartening up and contemporizing of some of the setting elements, which might have not aged as well. I love pulp, but historically, a lot of the stuff that it was tampering in, if you look at it with unvarnished eyes, is a little problematic. I mean, Temple of Doom itself, you could probably write a whole paper about all the unfortunate ideas that are thrown around in there. But yeah, so in terms of pulp adventure stuff, it's a it's still around on some in some places. They only just recently released a really good Indiana Jones video game, actually. Been enjoying that. But in terms of mainstream stuff, it's sort of faded a bit. I'm just curious, what would you guys say is your favorite adventure story that sort of falls under the pulp uh, descriptor? It's a pretty broad umbrella, really, but obviously mine is Raiders. What would you say is yours, Drew?
That's yeah. I mean, it's probably one of the first three Indiana Jones movies. Like those are
Mhm.
personal story. My older sister was a huge fan of Harrison Ford, so I saw those
Sure.
movies a lot as
Yeah.
a growing child. So I mean, I don't want to just say. I mean, it wasn't Temple of Doom. She did not like that. Well, she loved that one, but for different reasons. I'd
Mm,
probably say, yeah, Last Crusade was the one that I kind of like stuck in my
mm,
brain the most.
yeah, yeah. You're the right. Yeah, you're like about 10 years younger than me or something. That's about right.
Yeah.
That would have probably jumped out at you a little more. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. It's got a nice grounded story in the middle of all the craziness with the father and son relationship. Yeah. How about you, Sean? What would you say is your favorite pulp adventure story if you had to pick one?
If I have to pick one, it's going to be Sky Captain of the World Tomorrow. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
I still feel like that movie just came out. It was 21 plus years ago, but
Yeah, yeah.
um, I don't remember much about it anymore. I just remember it being very fun, and it was around the
Hmm.
same time that we were playing Adventure.
Oh,
So
cool.
That
Perfect.
was
Yes.
convenient.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. And kind of ahead of its time in terms of the use of CGI and like invented or animated sets and
yeah, I
characters
think
and
all of
stuff.
the set was um, basically all CG backdrops, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, second place is definitely The Mummy, though.
Yeah. That's another big one for kids who are a little younger than I am. Like, I think we had a talk in another campaign about how that was a big bisexual awakening for a lot of people
That's what I
based
have
on
heard,
this very,
yes.
very beautiful good guys, bad guys, and that people got hung up on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a big one.
I grew up in the 80s, but
Mhm.
I was very scared of a lot of things that were in movies, so I didn't like Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom went out of its way to gross you out and scare you and put bugs in your face and
Yeah.
eels in your snakes. Yeah.
It
Mhm.
was the heart part that always
Oh
freaked me out
yeah.
as a
Well,
kid.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Se-
peak of the movie, really. The
7-year-old me and the melting Nazi faces. That was very, very big impression on me. How about you, Bep? What would you say is your favorite adventure pulp?
I was gonna say The Mummy because I am one of
Oh,
those kids that
sure.
grew up with that.
Hmm.
Definitely my favorite. I always like anything that's contemporary but it has supernatural bent to it.
Yeah.
Like Curseborn is the other main story path game I have experience with, and that's
Hmm.
why. I
Yeah.
say if I was going to pick a second one, it's a bit before the period, 'cause it's more 19th century, I think, even if it's late, and it's a League of
Hmm.
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely one of the
Totally.
first pulp movies I ever saw.
That absolutely I think that qualifies the lineage between Victorian adventure fiction, Sherlock
Mhm.
Holmes and Arthur Conan Doyle, The Lost World, stuff like that, straight into the pulps. You just follow the penny
Yeah,
dreadfuls across the bridge of the turn of the century, and you're in the same wheelhouse, basically.
same
It's
wavelength.
right at the line between adventure and Aether.
Yes, yeah. Aether being, if you're curious, it's another recent release. That one is the Victorian era of Trinity Continuum, which Drew has refused to play
I have not,
because,
I have not,
uh,
I've refused to play it as a whole campaign because
sure,
I've
mhm,
got loud vocal opinions about, about
sure,
steampunk and steampunk adjacent.
yeah, not enough wrestling.
Uh, d-
Hmm.
d- please don't. People are
Sorry.
watching. My mom might know.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, but
Hmm.
yeah, no. Generally, it's easy to have opinions about
Hmm.
uh, the sort of like the political situation in Victoria.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we've been talking about pulp. The
Oh
Victorian
yeah.
era has a lot of that as well. So
Hmm.
Colonial Empire and such.
yes,
Oh yeah, big time. Arguably more even than the 30s, which pretty steeped in it. Indiana Jones doesn't stop and ask the natives of the Peruvian temple if he can borrow their idol, for instance. Still like the characters, still love the movie, but yeah, there's some questions about what they're up to, which will tie in sort of what we're gonna do tonight. So, have you guys played? It sounds like Sean, you were familiar with the OG first edition,
Mhm.
and Drew, I know you played a fair amount of it in a campaign with me.
uh,
Bep, it sounds like this is new. You haven't played Trinity Continuum before.
Nope.
Uh, um, the mechanics are pretty similar in terms of the die pool and how you count successes and things like that. But there's a lot of unique spins that Trinity Continuum and Adventure put on things to kind of emphasize the cinematic, over the top kind of freewheeling adventure style that we're going for here. Um, and your characters each kind of represent sort of three different, if you want to say, flavors of pulp adventure heroes. So we have Drew's playing a daredevil. Daredevils are known for their extraordinary luck, and they're a lot of fun because it's not that they're not skilled, but like Indiana Jones and a fair number of contemporary pulp adventure guys, they are more notable for getting out of scrapes that most people would never be able to get out of just by the seat of their pants, really. Like a lot of it is about being just in the right place at the right time or knowing the right person at the right moment or somehow making a life raft that hits the side of a mountain survive a slide down thousands of feet. That's the Daredevil thing. They do the improbable things. They get away with stuff that most of us wouldn't even be able to consider. Um, and then you have Stalwarts, which is what Sean's playing. Stalwarts are more in the vein of a character called Doc Savage, who is an old pulp novel character who is kind of a proto Superman. He is not an alien. He's, however, like gifted with skin of bronze, which can actually turn weapons when they strike him, and he is able to meditate and multitask. He's an expert at a lot of different fields, and just physically, he's very dynamic. He's got a lot of power in his body, and it manifests in a lot of extraordinary ways in his stories. And that's similar to what Sean's going to be playing. And then we have the mesmerists. Mesmerists probably best described as sort of a cross between Mandrake the Magician and the Shadow. It's somebody that's got psychic abilities, but 30 style psychic abilities, which tend to be kind of about being a medium or projecting thoughts and things. It's not on the scale of, say, like a Phoenix from the X-Men or something, but they're more like somebody that actually can do the psychic things that, con artists used to pretend to be, spiritualists and psychics of the era would be able to do. And so they use their minds. But one thing they all have in common is something called inspiration. And that's basically an energy that they unconsciously, usually, sometimes consciously, but usually without awareness, are able to manipulate in the world. And that's how they can achieve a lot of the extraordinary feats that the characters, the heroes of these adventures can do. Um, okay. So, in relation to the setup here, your characters are all working for a group that is in the Trinity Continuum called the Aeon Society. Aeon Society originated in the 20s after something called the Hammersmith Incident, which is a sort of experiment at an English manor that went awry, resulted in an explosion, flooding all the people present with telluric energy, is what they refer to it as. It's eventually called flux in later eras, but in the 30s, it's called telluric energy. And the people that were there included Max Mercer, who is the founder of the Aeon Society, and he becomes sort of a linchpin character, along with the person eventually known as Divis Mall, who at this point is Dr. Donegal, and a bunch of other characters. As with all of the Onyx Path games, there's a lot of lore you can get into, a lot of meta plot and stuff. But the main thing we're interested in here with the Aeon Society is that they're a group of extraordinary people, sort of like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that happen to come together and agree to try to make the world a better place. Now, you don't need to be a historian really to know that in the 1930s there was a lot of bad stuff going on. You had the Great Depression, you had the rise of fascism, all these things that, of course, uh, we're trying to get away from, but unfortunately have followed us into the 21st century. And so your characters are doing what you can to help out the little guy, keep society headed in the right direction, something more progressive and humanistic, rather than the restrictive militaristic regimes of the Nazis and Imperial Japan and Mussolini and his goons. And part of that includes trying to help local populations protect their culture from exploitation. And that's what this particular adventure is going to be about. So, as we get ready, are there any questions that you might have? I know that we wanted to talk a little bit about aspirations. Aspirations are these things that you can set. They're sort of like target markers for you to say, I want my character to do X this session or next session or whatever. Um, they can be something that the character wants to do, or it could just be what the player wants to do. Like, for instance, you could have your character, you might want to say, I want to get into an argument with my character. It doesn't mean the character is looking for an argument. It just means that kind of scene would interest you as a player. So, do you guys have any ideas for those?
I had a few noted down already.
Mhm.
They weren't big things. They were, I suppose it was more like I like to use them sometimes, especially just
Mm,
starting to be,
sure.
like you said, more things I want my character to do. So it's
Yep.
just like reminding me of things that I would tend to do if this was just like sort
Yes.
of a story that was being written. This is what the
Yep.
character would usually do.
Yep.
And so
Hmm.
I have my short-term ones of like access a secret I shouldn't know, especially that. So like if someone does want me to know something,
Hmm.
I want to find it out, even if it's accidental or incidental,
Right. Hmm.
um,
Sure.
or play it that way. And then another one is trust a teammate will protect me and be right,
Hmm.
because I specifically made this guy very squishy. I focused on doing
Sure.
lot of things that weren't combat related. So like I'm very much going to be avoiding direct conflict.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then the long term that we probably won't get into unless we play for a
Hmm.
good few sessions is
Hmm.
finding evidence of inspired people from the distant past.
Oh,
Because another
okay.
aspect of this character is very much probably the researcher of this trio in terms of like the cultural aspect, the historical aspect.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
V would have the tech covered.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a big part of this particular adventure. So you might actually make some progress to that long term. May not finish it, but we'll see your
Okay.
character be motivated by that. Um, so yeah, that's what the aspirations do. They basically help you get a guiding light for intention for your character, which is often important for having proactive and engaged players. So, how about Sean? Do you have any ideas for what you might try?
Yeah, I want to find something interesting in the jungle, which hopefully we will,
Right.
and get shot or the equivalent in the face,
Oh, geez. Okay. Just to see what happens.
just to see how it feels.
Uh,
Interesting. Okay. Well, there's a possibility of that happening as well. Um,
yeah. Last adventure game we played, not important, but I also I played a stalwart, and basically that was my short term. It was like, how can my character get bad things to happen to him that he can basically ignore?
sure. You want
Yeah,
to demonstrate
yeah.
that you're made of sterner stuff than most people. It makes sense. Gotcha. Yep. Cool. Drew, do you have any aspirations for V?
Yes, I do. So short term, are go face to face with someone or something terrifying, and annoy someone with her persistence, despite the situation, which is just kind of like, again, never give up type attitude, despite the fact that in these sort of stories, there are plenty of good times to give up.
Sure.
And uh,
That's yeah.
if
Hmm.
you're being realistic, it's like, oh yeah, no, just you don't have to do that. But yeah, and then long term is to do something to make the media treat her like her own person rather than the daughter of both of her parents who were Rocket Ron Tilford and Angela Tilford, who were kind of famous adventurers from probably like the was it like 1900s, like something
Okay.
like that, 1900s,
Sure.
1910s.
Yeah. Cool. So this sort of ether era family legacy.
Yes, and
Nice.
to try
Okay.
to step above that
Hmm.
by yeah by doing whatever she can and hopefully not
Okay.
getting killed. Fingers crossed.
So this adventure will appeal to all of your characters for a variety of reasons. But knowing your particular interests and skill sets, the Aeon Society has called upon you to help them investigate a recent discovery that was made in Southeast Asia. The place it's happening is what is known in 1934 as the Dutch East Indies. Speaking of colonial imperialism, pretty rough example of that if you look at the history of it. According to a local contact, a fisherman from Sumatra has reported discovering a previously unknown ruin in the lush jungle, one which may belong to a forgotten tribe of long ago. While the exact details are unknown, the contact mentioned that the fishermen observed phenomena that may be attributable to telluric energy, a strange force that is associated with the weird powers brought about by the Hammersmith incident in 1922. Word about the discovery has reached the ears of members of a group called the Ponitowski Foundation. Boo, boo, bad guys, hiss, hiss. Ponitowski Foundation is an academic group that is pretending to be furthering human knowledge, but in reality, they're working for a corrupt and ruthless Russian oligarch, a guy that wants to be the new czar called Ivan Stainskaya. Ivan Stainskaya is the secret founder, but the Aeon Society is onto their tricks. New guys have likely crossed paths with some of these in your exploration around the world. They're hypocrites and callous about the way that they raid sites of interest for the coffers of their employers. If they were to able to reach this temple of the moon god, as they're calling it, they will undoubtedly deliver whatever secrets it has into the clutches of Steenskaya in his constant search for power. So they've asked you, basically, the Aeon Society, saying not only do they want you to discover this place, they want you to find a way to keep the Ponitowski Foundation from exploiting it for their own nefarious means. So you've been brought together. It's up to you guys whether or not you've hung out together before. There's not a lot of talents in the world. You know, it's not as rare as, say, an aberrant, but it's still, you know, you guys are literally one in a million. So you probably know each other or have heard of each other if you haven't worked together before. And you've had a chance to get to know each other because you've had several days of travel. In the 1930s, you're going to be going by sail, by air, and across land on motor vehicles or beasts of burden. So you've had quite a trip to finally get to the Dutch East Indies. And you're headed to a place called Batavia, which is the capital and chief port city of the region. You're disembarking from a steamer with your luggage, and you're preparing for a jungle journey into the unknown. And there's a local hotel where you've been told to meet with a local contact. Her name is Ariane Sinaga. Ariane Sinaga is a local journalist who has some ancestry with local indigenous people. And she's the one who basically alerted the Aeon Society about this situation. So let's have a quick description physically. How do you imagine your characters to look? Like, this can be a description of the actor you would cast them in your fan film, or just a rough outline of their look and attire at this moment in time. So let's start with Bep. What do we see when Alistair shows up? How's he looking?
I think his default look is clean adjacent, but overall unassuming. It's kind of swept back, kind of longer hair,
Mhm.
not quite reaching the shoulders, and kind of has no facial hair, and has quite like very light sandy brown hair. Um, Pretty tall, especially for the period. Like, kind of thinking of like Victorian ages, a lot of people, or like say the 19th century, a lot of people not quite getting that tall, but
Yeah,
he's edging over to towards that 6 foot stage.
nice.
And just wearing some cuffed up white shirt that's maybe a little dusty just from being on the road. Um,
Mhm.
and just wearing some kind of tan pants. Like it's kind of looking like your gentleman adventure type at the moment.
Yeah,
But
sure.
like with many
Cool.
faces he wears, it could be his, could be not his, could be
No,
something he's
it's
wearing
true.
temporarily.
That's right. Yeah, he does have the Face of Clay gift, which deep cut here. There's an old pulp novel adventurer called the Avenger, no relation to the Marvel comics, who was a guy who lost his family in a kidnapping attempt, and as a result, his face got paralyzed, so he could squish his head around, like turn his face into look like anybody else. Uh, Face of Clay is actually more extensive because you can also like appear to be a different gender or ethnicity. You
Yeah,
can really stretch your appearance to whatever you want.
I'd say right now he's at his kind of true default state, what he mostly looked like before he became inspired.
Okay, cool. Let's see. What do we see when we see V make her entrance?
So V is dressed like she's going on her first safari, despite the fact
Okay.
that she has been on a few, but very, uh, khaki colored everything. Uh, and yeah, kind of rolled up. Everything looks way too new. Uh, she's, she's got curly, reddish, blondish hair, and it just kind of, she looks like she's put effort into that for some reason. And yeah, that overall she's just trying to look as natural as possible while from an outside like camera view, looking not at all like she like she belongs there.
Okay, so a little glamorous
Yes, a
for
little too
the
glamorous
jungle.
for a random
Mhm.
jungle. Uh,
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
and I'm trying to remember. I have a picture for her, that an actual actress from the era, but I did not write down who it was, and I'm losing my
That's
mind
fine.
trying to Google it. So we'll figure that.
That's all
We'll
right.
add that to the notes later.
Yes. Okay. So Sean, what is DM looking like right now?
He is, well, physically, he's a very thin man. He's probably just about 5'9". Uh, Blonde hair, blue eyes, very dramatic looking. Um, but uh, quite the tan from his travels. And right now, he would be wearing some wool pants, suspenders, probably just a rolled up sleeve shirt because it is, I'm assuming, quite warm in
Oh yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that part of the world right
Steamy.
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of
Moist.
mist. Just yeah, you're just dripping in sweat. Yeah.
Regret not having a gift for that,
Yes.
but he wouldn't be carrying it right now coming off the boat,
Mhm.
but he also generally has an extremely large rifle, an elephant gun, basically.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Those are big boys. Okay. All right. You guys head over to the hotel. Um, you can see that inside you've got some ceiling fans providing much needed air movement for the 1930s equivalent of good air conditioning. There's a lot of wicker furniture and a pretty elaborate looking bar in the back. You see that there is a woman in a Western style dress and hat. She's got like a sort of Panama hat on, but you can tell from her appearance that she is probably more of a local than a lot of the other people in the hotel. And she has a fairly distinct looking necklace around her neck. Now we're gonna have our first roll here. It's optional, but I would like one of you at least to give it a shot. The role is to kind of get a look at that necklace and see if you can recognize something significant about it. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to say the skill involved is either culture or humanities. You can pair that with whatever attribute you think is inappropriate. It can be intellect, cunning. You might argue even like dexterity or resolve or composure. Um, it's going to be difficulty 2, so we're going to need 2 successes. And we were adding something called a complication. And in this case, complications are distinct from difficulty. Basically, they're a way of adding another layer of potential consequences. So you can succeed at this skill and fail to get rid of the complication if you don't buy it off, which is to say, spend an extra success. And this one is called staring. So you have to kind of do get a good look at that necklace. And if you don't buy that off, it might be a little off-putting for this woman. So does anybody want to try and give this a roll?
I'm happy
Uh,
to have some humanity.
I would like to as well. I'm just checking something real
Mm-hmm.
quick.
Sure. So you can use the die roller or whatever roller that
Mhm.
you're preferring, and we'll
Is it
see
humanities
what you get.
and what would be the attribute?
That's up to you. One thing in
Oh,
Trinity
Grant.
Continuum is often you get the option of just dictating what you think is appropriate, which obviously, not to metagame, but you'll probably want to use one of the abilities that you're better at if you can justify it in the narrative. Like
Hmm.
might plus humanities would be kind of hard to argue unless you're like grabbing her and shaking her and looking at it. But generally speaking, most of your abilities can probably come into play if you can come up with a reason.
Got it. Ship good. And I think that should be right.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
That's okay. So
Getting used
let's
to
see.
using it again.
Yeah. If you do the slash PSP first and hit enter, then it'll give you the prompt for
Yeah.
the target and all that stuff. And you can click on the 7 plus more and add the other parts as well.
And
Mike, I got two, which is just enough for the difficulty, not the complication.
Oh, okay.
But I have a
So,
question. When you said
yes,
they look like a native, do you mean Indonesian native or somebody who just has lived here for a while
yeah,
and could be
they
okay?
are of Indonesian descent.
So not a colonist.
No. Mm-mm. Okay.
I got
Wow.
the exact same, enough to succeed, not enough to
Okay.
buy off complication.
All right. Now, we do have something called momentum in this game. Momentum is something that is shared. It's a pool. It's equal to the number of players we have at the beginning. So I'm going to keep track of it here in the Zoom chat, maybe. So momentum is 3. So if you want, you can spend momentum to try to roll or add enhancement. Um, Basically, also inspiration can be used to give yourself enhancement. Enhancement basically is like a free extra success, or up to 3 extra successes typically,
Mhm,
depending on if you want to activate one of your facets. The facets are destructive, intuitive, and reflective. We are talking about this earlier. Destructive tends to mean intentional, like bullheaded, like full steam ahead kind of action. It's associated kind of in a vague way with stalwarts, but it can be anybody can use it. Intuitive is more of just relying on your gut instinct and luck, so it's a little more associated with daredevils. And then lastly, reflective is a little more associated with mesmerist because it implies some amount of mental energy or like
mhm.
preparation in advance. If you spend an inspiration, you can actually add your dots in that one of those ratings to your successes as enhancement. Um, Inspiration comes and goes pretty quickly, so like every scene you'll get at least one. So don't be too shy about using that for these kind of things or for dramatic editing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So does anybody want to try to zhuzh up their successes? Are you guys okay with being oglers of this lady?
Um, yeah, I'm happy to spend inspiration just to get it
Hmm?
used and see how it happens.
Sure.
So I spend inspiration and I just would roll like another 2 dice and add it on.
Oh, you don't even have to roll. That's the nice thing
Oh,
about enhancement. It's just
oh,
extra successes. Now the thing is, you
oh
have to
yes,
have
enhancement.
one success to start with. But as long as you have
Gotcha.
one, you can add pile on an enhancement and get extras. Okay.
Um, I think I have a rating of 2 in cunning, so by spending
All right.
inspiration, I think I have enough to buy a complication. And so I think basically what it looks like is I turn into it very much zero in on the necklace, but then realizing how long I've looked at it, I turn into a more overall assessing look. So it's less
Okay.
staring
Sure.
and maybe comes out as
Right.
more calculating.
Right. And then Sean,
So
are we saying that DM maybe doesn't have that finesse in his
Nah,
examination?
he's
Yeah.
just locked eyes on the
Yes.
necklace.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fought the Bigfoot. His manner's probably a little less subtle than Alistair.
Yeah.
So you see her kind of hold her hand over the necklace and look at DM and then turn and then like show it show it a little to Alistair when she sees that he's more, have a seemingly scholastic or artistic interest in it. Um,
mhm.
you guys realize that this necklace is from a group called the Batak, Batak. They're a local indigenous people. It's really a collective, like a lot of these indigenous people of various tribes and so forth. They're from northern Sumatra, which is roughly in the region of where this temple is supposedly found. So she seems at least to have an interest in them, if not some ancestry with the Batak. So she looks to all of you. I'm going to say because you didn't buy off the complication, DM, that you're going to have she's going to have a little different attitude towards you. So like influence or intrigue actions targeting her for you will be a little harder, like one difficulty higher for this scene, anyways. So she shows you the necklace and then looks around and says, "Oh, of course, you must be from the Aeon Society. I am Ariane. You are."
I'll step forward and do like a kind of a slight inclining bow, and I'll say, "My name is Alistair, Alistair Mallory, and these are my companions."
So she turns
Kind of
first
indicate.
to. She'll look to V first.
Yeah.
No, yes.
V has kind of been trying to look polite, but also, try not to stare at anybody, and definitely try not to side eye DM for his atrocious gazing. And she says, I'm V. And then she kind of extends a hand. Uh, Veronica Tilford.
Do you have fame, by the way?
I do. I do have fame 1.
All right. She's, oh, you're one of the Tilford family.
And
Fantastic.
she's trying not to grit her teeth when she hears that, but she says, yes,
Sure.
yes.
And who is this gentleman?
V V for a moment just looks over at him and says, oh, he's I think he wrestled Bigfoot once.
Wow.
I introduced myself in one of the Batak languages as
Oh, sweet.
Derek.
Nice. Do you have polyglot or a
I
similar?
do.
Yeah. Polyglot's great. It's a 1 point edge. Basically, lets you do the Indiana Jones thing of just saying, "Oh yeah, I can speak that language,"
Yeah.
Yeah, I
almost
have it as well.
regardless of.
It's gonna
Oh
be fun.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Right.
intentionally didn't pick it, even though it's
Okay.
kind of one of those coin flip things for my character, where it's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
no, it would make sense if she had it. It would also make sense if she just like, no, I don't need to learn all that
Absolutely
stuff.
didn't.
So let me ask. So after Sean's character has introduced himself, does Alistair show off a little Batak as well?
No, it's
No.
something he
Okay.
keeps close to the chest. Like
Okay.
he wants people to not know what he understands, so maybe they speak
Gotcha.
around him.
Okay. So she's a little more impressed with DM. Maybe a little suspicious still, but it's like, oh, okay. Well, that's an unusual thing for visitors, especially from outside, to be able to speak the Batak language. So I am myself half Batak, and I believe the first person that the fisherman who found the temple spoke to about it. His name is Ismaya. He's from one of the Batak tribes in Sumatra. Um, have a seat, by the way, please.
Uh,
Uh,
was she sitting at the bar or table?
She's at the bar.
I have a seat.
Okay, cool.
I'll take a lean against it, keeping an eye on the just in case
Uh-huh.
someone from what was it the Pantas
Ponitowski's. Yeah,
Panatas. Yeah,
yeah. That's let me put that in the chat as well because it's a heck of a name.
yeah. Because
Uh,
one of the it might not be too practical, but one of like the path contacts I have as a mastermind is unwitting pawns. So I'm wondering if this is an organization that I've swindled often, and I might have some people I
sure.
recognize, or at least a
That makes
uniform or something
sense.
I recognize.
Yes, that would make sense. Yeah, sure. So you found out some leverage on them at some point in one of your, one of your con games that you run, and maybe can use them for dupes in the future.
Hell yeah.
yeah. V also politely takes a seat when
Mhm.
offered.
Okay. So she smiles to each of you and says, "Well, uh, it's pretty simple, really. Ismaya was going out for his usual fishing trip off of the coast of the north tip of Sumatra. It's a very big island off to the east of here, and it's very verdant, very jungle, and has some pretty good fishing in that area. It's relatively safe from sharks and things like that if he hangs a little bit to the southwest of the north tip of the island. And he was casting his nets out there until the approach of the evening. But more than that, there was a storm that suddenly appeared. And, Ismaya, like all the fishermen around here, knows these waters very well and, of course, are very alert to the potential danger of sudden storms. So they usually have a good sense of when was going to come up. But he says that this was unusual because it did not give any warning. It just swept up over the sort of cast a shadow there of his little fishing boat. And he started to try to make his way back towards his village when he saw that. But then there were some really strange flashes of light. Now, I asked him if this was lightning, and he said that it wasn't. It had a kind of a blue color to it, which he hasn't seen before. Um, I mean, I don't know enough about nautical stuff. Maybe it's what they call St. Elmo's fire, but I don't think that's typically blue, is it?
So can I
Excellent
make
question. Yeah.
a roll, or would I know?
Sure.
What,
Science.
yeah, I was
Science
going
would
to
be
say
appropriate here.
science and intelligence is what I'm going to roll.
Okay. Let me do a real quick check on what St. Elmo's fire looks like. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right.
No enhancement.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, 3
So,
successes.
so what he's describing, like you get her to give a little more details. It doesn't seem to be the same kind of corona fire effect that you see on ships at sea from St. Elmo's fire. This is more like big ball of light, almost like ball lightning, but blue. And you've heard stories that this sometimes can be seen in the vicinity of telluric emanations, which is to say, signs of strange energies from beyond.
So this makes V perk up, and she'll say, "Oh, that sounds like telluric energy."
Oh, telluric energy, like from the Hammersmith incident. I'm not too versed in it, but I've seen some of the news stories about it.
It's very fascinating, and then because I don't want to do any techno babble right now,
Okay, fair enough.
she'll just she goes into that, and I don't know, maybe the audio kind of moves sideways. It's kind of like, oh yeah, no, everyone,
Okay, it sort of pans away and
yeah.
people are just kind of dazedly looking, and then somebody clears their throat.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, well, she says, whatever it was enough to scare the dickens out of him, and he ended up pulling over to the shore instead of even trying to make his way back to his village. Um, Ended up partially damaging the hull of his little boat, and so with the rain starting and the winds, he went inland into the jungle looking for some shelter, and that's when he saw it. He says it was a stone monument or ruin rising up, but it was covered in these strange vines and blooming flowers that he hadn't seen before. And then there was a sort of narrow stairway rising up towards the top of the entrance there. And he head up there, and he managed to get in some shelter from some stone roof ceiling and overhang of some roots. And while he was hiding out there, he saw what he told me looked a lot like the masks and figurines of the Batak people, which struck him immediately because he'd never heard of this place, even though he's lived all his life here. And there was just something otherworldly about it, but definitely familiar to him. Just the architecture and some of the designs and the carvings. He said he mentioned the Datu, which are the Batak magician priests. He said that some of those things reminded him of those people. Um, so there was a big
Would this
stone.
be the right area for a temple of theirs to be hypothetically?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it would be unusual in that it hasn't been found yet. But yes, if he is talking about the north tip of Sumatra, there's a lot of Batak people that live there and have left their traces over the centuries. So he says, or she says, he told me that there was a big stone door. He didn't want to disturb it, but and also the whole situation was weirding him out. So storm started to slack off rather suddenly, just as suddenly as it came, and he managed to find some bamboo and wood, repair his boat, and made his way back to Batavia. And that's where he met me and told me in the local marketplace. He knew that I was interested in stories of the strange and unique, and certainly this qualifies, I would say. Unfortunately, uh, looks like somebody else in the marketplace, maybe one of the competing fishermen, heard it, and there's one that's been something of a little snitch. He likes to go report to the Dutch about things, and he went off to a local telegraph office. I found out I went to go see what I could find out. I managed to convince the telegraph operator to tell me a little bit about what he had sent. It sounds like he had made a call to the Poniatowski operations that are over in India. So that's when I knew that I had to do something. I've heard plenty of stories about what they've been up to in the past, and aside from allying with the Dutch and letting them exploit things around here, they personally know of an incident about a year back where a Javanese bearer was killed after an argument with one of their supposed security personnel. So that tells me all I need to know about them. The Dutch didn't give them much more than a slap on the wrist, so obviously they have influence, and I'm just hoping that a positive influence might be able to counter their negative one. And that's where I made a call out to my friend that I met at an evening party, Helen Perkins. She's one of the journalists that works with you folks, and that's why you're here.
All right.
Do you have any questions? I'd be happy to tell you more if you want to know more details. I know that was a lot of exposition. Right?
Yeah.
Dietrich
going.
is
Yeah.
processing it all in his brain.
Yeah. Sure.
I wanted to ask, would the Panataski, if they like knew about this, would they like us, like the Alien Society, send like maybe a small group of people, or would they kind of already immediately try sending an operation to?
They are quick to act on anything they hear about, apparently.
Hmm.
Once they get word of a possible site, they try to sort of, to use an American term, jump the claim.
Hmm.
So they send out like their junior fellows out there. So these usually lower ranked members that are trying to make a name for
Hmm.
themselves. And then a lot of goons, some local, some
Got it.
possibly from other sources. This is also something you should know about. I hear that this particular expedition of the Ponitaski Foundation is being led by Jackson Landry. So I'm going to say all of you have heard of Jackson Landry just for the sake of the story. He's an American mercenary and arms dealer who basically has inserted himself into a couple of hot spots worldwide. It's possible some of you may have crossed paths with him in the past if you ever go out to these kinds of places. He works for the colonial governments 1 week and then switches sides and helps up the rebel bands the next, just in the name of profit, basically. Um, and the Ponitowski Foundation is fearful that there might be some anti-Dutch out there in the jungle, so they've gotten Jackson Landry to basically get them a group of goons to protect them while they make their way to the site. It's bad news.
So, so we know they're already here.
We are pretty confident that yeah, they've already arrived from India and they're on their way. So we don't have a lot of time. I'm hoping that once we get down to the docks, we can meet with Ismaya. I've arranged for a steamer to take us out to the location. So we'll be
Perfect. That was
ready
going
to
to be my next
go.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Sure. No, I knew we needed to act quick once I heard Landry was involved. He's known for doing things like using dynamite to blow open the entrances to ruins.
Very considerate.
Yeah.
Um, I think if time's of the essence, I don't have any more questions we can't ask on a ship.
All right.
That's
Great.
a
Do
good
you guys have
point.
all your gear? You ready to go?
Yes, at least I brought what I needed, which hopefully won't be much.
Mhm.
Um,
Hopefully.
yeah, I think I'm pretty good. I probably have anything I would need. I probably just have on me, but I probably don't carry much as a general rule. When you're doing quick changes, you don't want to
Right.
have a lot of stuff.
True. True.
Mhm. Yeah, V does have kind of a big luggage box, but she just kind of slaps on the side of it and pops it open and pulls out a relative like a good old American revolver from it and says, "I've got everything I need."
Okay.
And she
Yeah.
tucks it awkwardly into her belt.
Does she not have a holster, or is she just counting
Uh,
on
it,
the?
it, she
Mm,
no, she doesn't have a holster.
So Dietrich, do you have any thoughts about this, or are you okay with her handling the gun however she wants?
Hey, it's her body, her choice.
Very progressive. A man ahead of his time.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if I'm not worried about getting hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right. So,
He
yeah.
Dietrich doesn't remember what it feels like to shoot yourself in the leg with a gun.
Well,
He probably hasn't,
got
but
gotta learn sometime. So we're gonna keep things moving. In some games, there might be a stop for a lot of prep talk and going through equipment lists and stuff, but this is not that. We're gonna assume your characters are well experienced, competent adventurers. So if you have a thing where you're like, oh well, I want to say that I have some rope, that's not gonna require even momentum or an inspiration to buy. I think that's pretty safe to say that you can get that kind of stuff. So you guys head off, begin your trip to the jungle. So at this point, it's a new scene. So if you spent an inspiration, and I think that was only Bap spent one, you get
Yeah.
one back.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So pretty easy to get. So you guys head off. You meet Ismaya. So, very tanned, weather-worn, haggard-looking man, but he's got a very bright look on his face, like he's excited to do this. He's like, he knows it's a big deal. And if nothing else, it'll be good for his people. And he's trusting you and Ariane to handle this well. So Ariane asks, are you good to go? Do you want me to come with you? Or, I mean, I'm not much in the jungle, to be honest. I mostly try to stick to the city desk over here. But Ismaya, I think, can help you navigate the waters.
V
Is yeah.
uh, V kind of pipes up and says, "How good is his English?"
It's passable, but it seems like we have two speakers of Batak here. She
And
looks
then
to the
V
other
kind of
two.
has that that moment of revelation of like, "Oh
Mhm.
right." Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, she says, "Well, it could be a
um
stressful situation. Go
Hmm.
ahead."
yeah.
I think we'll
I
be
just
fine.
want to ask, considering it's a kind of, is there some read I could get based on, like she mentioned earlier that like Ismail had found like idols and masks and stuff, and
Hmm.
with the phenomenon, like does she seem very science-minded, open to kind of more occult esoteric things? Like, because essentially I was going to ask, like, is there much significance to your necklace? Like thinking
Hmm.
of the idea of like if there's something more mystical involved, if that's kind of something that can happen in
Sure.
adventure, if
Oh,
would
absolutely.
having a necklace like that allow
Hmm.
passage if it was attached to a talk person
Right.
or even just to us?
So the mystical in this game is similar to the Indiana Jones stories or Lara
Hmm.
Croft kind of things, or even Tintin, where you have rumor of it. Everyone declaims having actually encountered
Hmm.
it until in the adventure, for whatever reason, the thing that was supposed to be magical actually is. Um, and then inexplicably, sometimes somebody that, let's say, an Indiana Jones
Hmm.
runs into the mystical Shankara stones and sees a man get his heart ripped out, but in the next chronologically, Raiders of the Lost Ark, he's like, yeah, but that's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
And
So,
then
Yeah,
also
yeah,
not seeing
yeah.
nothing faces.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I had a pretty close up look at holy magic or something like it. But yeah,
Yeah.
scientists like V might argue that this is just another manifestation of telluric energy, but everybody interprets it their own way. And like I've said, most daredevils don't, like Indiana Jones wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, I use my superpowers in order to get out from the out of the way of the boulder." That's just not how that works.
Yeah.
Even Doc Savage would like say, "Well, no, I just train myself really well, and that's how I'm good at that." Similar to the Shadow, also is like, I learned from the Tibetan Lama how to do this. It's like, well, how did you turn invisible by hypnotizing everyone around you? How's that works? Yeah, I just
It
learned how to
just
do it.
Uh,
does.
Yeah,
yeah.
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 So yeah, but
Um,
to make a read on her, empathy is a good skill to use if you have that.
mhm, cool. Could I use like empathy and cunning to kind of
Oh yeah,
like do this assessment
definitely.
of like
Mhm.
reading like how she spoke about things and understanding that?
Yes, I'm gonna say this one's pretty easy. There's no extra complication or anything. It's just a regular one difficulty.
Coolio. 1 second, I'll double check my empathy. I think it's Not the best, but it's okay.
Any empathy
Uh,
is better than none.
true. Um, and then targets 8 and explode on 10.
Mhm. Okay,
I'm so
that's good.
bad at dice.
Well, you got one success, which in this game is still enough. Like, this game emphasizes competence. If you get enough to get equal to the difficulty, you've done good enough.
Mhm,
If you get above it, then you've done extraordinarily well, and you can get stuff like extra momentum or like stunts and things. But yeah, so you can tell that she seems to be more motivated by the cultural significance of this. She may not have like, she seems pretty westernized, generally
mhm.
speaking. And being a journalist, you suspect she's skeptical of any sort of magical stuff. But she does know that if this is an actual Batak thing, this could be huge for the local culture.
I think keeping an eye to V and being like, okay, maybe she wouldn't get the vibe, but if she made the joke about this guy wrestling a Sasquatch, I think in Batak I will speak to her and I will
Right. Hmm.
ask, do you think the necklace could have any influence on how easily we'll pass through? I don't know how much stock you put into these things, but I find even if we just took it as a good luck charm, or if Ismaya, I should say, carried it as a good luck charm, I don't want to say she handed it to us. Um,
Hmm.
I think it could be helpful. Um, and I will make sure that we do everything in our power to make sure it returns to you.
Hmm.
Um, this is on, I only want to ask because I'm not sure you mentioned the priests and
Yeah.
magicians and such, and I find
Well, yeah. Well, this
something of
this
truth
is
seems to be there.
this is more of sentimental value for me. It's for my mother.
Hmm.
Um, she passed away during the influenza epidemic. Um, and this was sort of a little bit of home for her.
Hmm.
Uh, she looks thoughtful. If you want to try to persuade her, we can make a roll here. I'll say this is difficulty two,
Hmm.
of persuasion or something along those lines, possibly.
Yeah, I have persuasion. It's probably the best one for it
Yeah.
anyway.
Mhm.
Do, do, do. So that's 2. And I'll just use presents because I'm trying to be, all nicey nice.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
And there you go. There you go.
Nice.
Oof,
Okay. Whoa, you're short by one. Sorry. So you got one success. Now that'll be
got
a
it.
failure. If you fail, you guys get momentum as compensation, but she would deny the request. She would say, "No, I can hold on to this."
If it's okay with the group, I'd like to spend just one momentum because I don't know, I
Okay.
feel like the necklace immediately had some attention brought to it,
Hmm.
and I feel there could easily be significance to it beyond just the cultural aspect.
Sure.
But maybe
Sure.
that's
Fine by
playing
me.
into my character's
Hmm.
occultish leaning.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Hell yeah.
So, we'll
Down to 2.
say, yeah, we got momentum two now. So put that in the chat. So yeah, you are able to explain that, or actually I'd hint at some of the weird possibilities that could be going on at this
Hmm.
temple, given what she described. So she reluctantly, but finally does agree to take it and give it to Ismaya, who tells her in his native tongue that he will keep a good eye on it and make sure to return it to her when they're done.
Oh yeah.
So you guys head out. We see a brief montage of you chugging out away from the port, leaving behind the colonial buildings and heading out into the Java Sea and moving your way along towards the high mountains and tropical vegetation of the mountains of the Beresian Range. As you're approaching, you can see that the mist that has already kind of settled over the area has become more intense as you get closer. And you realize that you're going to need to navigate this area to get to the exact spot. Now, Ismaya can assist you. If you want, he can take the helm, but somebody else could take the helm if they're feeling confident in their pilot abilities. That skill could potentially come in handy here. But if nobody else wants to do it, then Ismaya will steer and you can assist him.
I don't have pilot personally, at least, so I don't think I can help overly much.
Uh,
Yeah,
Once we're on the land, I can help, but not right
Okay,
now.
sure. Okay. So Ismay is there at the stern and steering, or in the helm, I guess, in the bridge. So chugging along. Now we're going to do a very quick, what's called a complex task. Complex tasks are good for abstracting these kind of montage scenes or chases or heists and things like that. The idea being that you guys, as a group, can try 4 times to try to get 2 successes on this. So if you fail, you still get 3 more chances. But if you run out of chances, then you will fail. And in this case, what that
Mhm.
will represent is that the mist has slowed you down, and it means that the Ponitowski expedition will potentially reach the temple first. So it's
Got
pretty
it.
important. So the difficulty for these milestones will be 2. There'll be 2 different milestones. The first one we're dealing with is just navigating the fog, and that's going to be a cunning plus pilot check is the recommended one. But you guys can try something else if you'd like. Ismaya is present, so he can give you +1 enhancement with his own knowledge of the waters. Is anybody feeling cunning today?
I'm pretty good at cunning.
Mhm.
Unless someone feels they specifically might like be even has 1 dot in pilot even. Otherwise I
No,
probably
No,
lean towards going with that
no.
person. Oh, none of us.
Yeah.
none of us.
We
So
all get chauffeured.
so basically, we're gonna have a lot of car chases in this campaign.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
To be fair, I did the last 2 rolls, so I also want to
Uh,
pass that to other people if they
that's a
have.
good point. Yeah. Somebody else want to take over for this?
So yeah, V can. I mean, yeah, V has a cutting of 4, so it's not.
Oh,
Not bad.
Yeah, it's
probably
not
good.
bad. It's by any means. I think in this
Well,
game,
just
It's
to
two
give it
away from max.
yeah,
for the audience for perspective, 5 is the max in most normal humans.
Yeah.
So like you're
Yeah.
just you're like right below like the best people at cutting in the world. So it's more than it's quite good. Yeah.
yes. But mechanically speaking, it's also,
Yeah.
anyways,
Without any pilot, that's just 4 dice. Yeah.
yes. So it can be a little coin flippy, but also,
Uh-huh.
I mean, we have so many ways of getting,
Enhancements and such, and inspiration
yes.
Yes.
especially.
Hmm.
So
Just do a scene edit. The wind's against us. I mean, with us.
Yeah. Speaking of dramatic editing, is probably my favorite thing in this game. It was introduced in the original adventure. The idea being that it's a meta narrative currency, basically, represented by your inspiration that you can use. Daredevils are especially good at it, but so can stalwarts and mesmerists. And essentially, it's rated from 1 to 3. If you just want a convenient coincidence to happen, it's just 1 point. If you want to like totally change something or have like a Deus Ex Machina where your friends from the Aeon Society show up and save the day, that'd be more like 3 points. Um, so if you wanted, like for an example, just for this instance, you could say, "Oh, I happen to have traveled these waters before, and I know of a cove that's perfect for us to take."
right.
That'd be like a 1 or 2 point, depending on your character. Um, and then you might not have to roll for this, for instance.
However,
I'm
I'm going to roll it just because
sure.
uh, we are a little low on momentum. So,
Mhm. Okay.
and I got 1 success, which means I can just spend that momentum now and
Okay.
uh, save the brain power for figuring out clever things for later.
Okay.
I
Uh,
was gonna ask, can
yeah.
we do
Hmm.
stuff like scene edits and things to like help other people? So like
Yes,
say
Yeah,
totally.
I can say, oh, I'll spend inspiration, do a scene edit, and say like, oh, I studied the maps of this
Yeah,
place, knowing we need to
totally.
find a temple. Okay, so
Yes.
right.
maybe for the
Hmm.
next one we can do that.
Yeah,
And that's always something you guys talk about in the meta of the game of saying, well, yeah, I want to be able to do this. Speaking of which, though, Sean has pointed out that he has a gift that could be very useful here.
Oh, hell yeah.
So yeah, I'll say that reduces the difficulty. So you could
okay.
just say you just need 1, so you may not even need to spend the momentum.
So yeah, no, in
Mhm.
that case, uh, yeah, V is trying to use kind of traditional technology, like uh, a map, and kind of trying to see through all the fog, like
Right. And
that makes it
Sean,
hard.
how would you describe how your sniffer helps you out here?
So I'll just be standing next to V, and every time I think she's gonna make a quick mistake, I'd be like, to the right.
Okay.
That,
Slow it down.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So not even saying, "Oh, it's the algae," or "I smell good dirt." It's just he's just somehow almost mystically using
Yeah,
his nose to guide you.
and V is just disturbed by this beyond. There's a person that is sniffing right behind her, and she does not know what to do about it. But she does give a sarcastic, "Oh, thank you. I couldn't spell that myself," and then just kind of,
I will say, to your surprise, as you're saying that, you notice when he tells you to turn to the right a little bit, or to port or whatever,
yeah,
starboard, I don't know,
it's
starboard,
starboard.
I think.
But yeah,
Starboard.
You notice that there's a big log of some like big what are those like mangrove trees that are just kind of sticking up out of the water, which could have actually hit the hull.
yeah. V does look down on it and say, "Oh no, good job." And
Okay,
then just
well,
kind
I'll
of like
forgive
peering
that.
over the edge of the boat. But yeah,
Sure, sure. All right. So you guys get closer. Ismaya looks pretty excited. He's pointing and saying, "This is it. This is the spot. I think we're here."
Mhm.
And he says, "Watch out for those rocks there." And you do see that this is a pretty rocky outcropping, the edge of the this cliffside where the temple is located. Looks quite steep. And you manage to he brings it up safely up to the side of the shoreline without ramming into the rocks. He gives you a little play on like, a little distance from the rocks so that, the motion of the waters won't knock you into it, and ties off a little bit on maybe a branch that's kind of overhanging, and then says, "I can keep an eye here on the boat if you want."
Um, I think at least for some time it may be better. Actually, no. If we can get a clear way to the entrance to the temple, maybe then it's good to even double back for you, just in case the next is any significance, or especially if the Ponatowski is here. I don't want to find the boat and
All
then
right.
also find you alone.
Do you want me to send out some sort of alarm if I see them?
Um, I'll look to the Sasquatch wrestler who may have a flare gun.
uh-huh.
I do indeed have a flare gun that I hand to
Yes.
him.
Okay. So you show him how to use it. He nods, says, "All right, I'll shoot this if I see those Ponitowskis coming." He clearly is
Oh,
not a fan of them based on the stories he's
yeah.
heard as well. So pretty confident he'll be eager to let you know if he sees them. So
Oh, yeah.
you look up and you all realize that this is going to be a bit of a climb. There's no easy way around to the either side of the shore here. To get to the temple, you will have to ascend over some of these slippery, pointy rocks to
Hmm.
get up. So this will be milestone 2. This one is might plus athletics. If you happen to have rope or other climbing gear, that can give you a +1 enhancement. And like I said, you don't need to worry about saying, "Oh, I didn't write it down on my character sheet." We can assume you guys have something. Now, if you want like a grapple gun or something, then we might have to talk about thematic editing.
Before we go, I ask V if she has any extra perfume.
V kind of pauses for a moment and says, "Why?"
I wanted to mark the boat.
Ah, smart. Smart.
Yeah, V like kind of looks slightly ashamed of herself and pulls something out of her, like out of the inside of one of the pockets at her hip, and just says, "Just don't use too much of it."
I won't, but also same to you. He winks and
Uh,
sprinkles a little bit.
Mm. All right. So I'm gonna give you guys a momentum for the perfume idea. So you guys now have 3 momentum. Who wants to try to make the might plus athletics roll for this?
This is pile all over again.
yeah, I
I
do
can
actually have.
try this one.
I was going to say
Okay.
I'm probably second best at this, but I do actually have some athletics. So
Okay. All
I
right.
actually have
I
more
literally have
athletics than might.
yeah,
I have
Okay.
one might and no athletics.
yeah, that's
Oh, that's no
I meant
good.
it when I said I'm
Yeah.
not here for fights.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. You'll hang back. You'll
I'm a
give
flimsy
it
guy,
tips. Yeah.
100%.
So I will go up and climb up there and set the rope, hopefully.
All right. So difficulty 2, and the rope will give you 1 enhancement on this.
Well,
Moral
then I
support.
got a total of 3.
Sweet.
Hell
And
yeah.
do the others need to roll on this?
No, no. We'll just to
Okay.
say that you guys trust him to set the rope and hold it in place and give you some tips on how to climb if you need them, and
Yeah.
maybe even pull a little bit to get some assistance for some of you who are struggling. And soon enough, yep, you've made your way up, and you see this basically a stone stairwell leading up to a very clear stone doorway, leads further into the cliffside. And as you're doing that, you notice that we see there's a lot of vines covering up over that. And unlike in the picture here, there's some kind of vivid violet and green flowers blooming from the vegetation. If anybody has a slight inkling of a interest in naturalism or flowers, potentially you might be able to pick up something here about those plants.
Question.
Yes.
I have survival, but I also have a culture specialty in folklore.
Mhm.
Can I try and think if I've ever seen or read about these flowers anywhere?
Sure. Yeah, I'd say what's your rank in culture?
3.
3. So you get a +1 enhancement on this roll to try to figure out what's going on here.
And may this be composure?
Sure. Yeah, just keeping
All
a cool
right.
head, keeping your
Hold on,
cool.
hold on.
Yes.
No, that was for the
Oh, that's
character,
you
sorry.
doing your thing. Yes. Okay. I got you. I was like, uh-oh.
5 with the enhancement.
Whoa. All right. So 5 successes is a lot. This was difficulty 1, so you beat it by 4, which means you can use stunts in this. Sort of investigative stunts might be appropriate. You can buy 1 for 1, like if you want additional questions answered about this particular thing, you could do that. Or you could use it to buy some enhancement on a future check of some kind if you wanted, or to create a condition or a status effect for yourself. I'll give you
First, let's see how much information we need.
yeah. So the first part, the baseline success, tells you that these plants are of a new undiscovered species that you've never heard of.
Oh,
They're not local to this area. In fact, purple and green, or this kind of vivid purple and green, is not heard of in this particular region. Um, yeah.
do they smell poisonous?
I'll say they seem non-toxic.
I pick up a little rock and throw it at one.
Okay.
Does
So
it
They're
eat
man
it?
eaters.
it does not eat the rock, so it does not seem to have any special properties in that regard. It's just a regular flower.
All right. I will I guess go ahead and bank the enhances the successes for my next non-survival roll.
All right, cool. So, what do you guys do? Who wants to go up the stairs first, and what are you looking for aside from checking out those flowers? Anything in particular?
I climbed the
Well,
last one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's true.
I would like the big guy to go first, for obvious reasons, but
Mhm.
I think that'll probably end up happening anyway, just because I want to take it slow and looking around, see if I see any markings or depictions on any of the stone and things like that, and
Mhm.
see if I can suss out anything of its purpose, of its history, anything I can relate it to in
Mhm.
terms of like, um, just anything I maybe seen before. I have like useful esoterica, so that might
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
sit in, yeah, relate to
Yeah.
research and analysis. So I have maybe an enhancement to that.
Cool.
See if I can piece anything together.
So this would probably be some sort of culture or a humanities check.
Mhm.
Intellect could be good. I'd say it's going to be difficulty 2 because it's still relatively obscure kind of architecture.
Yeah. I will use my humanities and intellect. That'll
Okay.
be 5. Yeah, 5.
And if the useful esoterica comes into play, you can apply that as well. Seems appropriate.
Yeah. That's the one enhancement then just from that one. Then
Cool.
target is 8. Explode on 10. That should be right.
Ooh, dang. It's a botch.
Yeah, I know nothing.
So you guys do get 2
This
momentum.
place is mysterious to me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that because there's something wrong to the like this architecture is kind of weird to you. For some
Mhm.
reason, you're getting a bad vibe from it, Alistair. So I'm gonna say you have a condition or status effect I'm gonna call weirded out,
I love it.
which gives you one, let's see, +1 difficulty on scholastic stuff inside the temple.
How dare you? I'm specifically being targeted.
So it's not that, yeah, it's just like, okay, that doesn't make sense. That shouldn't, that beam, that structure, that's not consistent with this
Yeah,
region. That does
and
not look like anything I've seen before, so on and so forth.
got it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So,
I will
you,
gladly tell them I'm getting nothing from this.
yes, yes,
I'll have bending down, staring very close to the wall. I got nothing.
yeah. Yeah. All right. So as you're coming up to the top of the landing, you do see that the wall continues, or the hallway continues further in. Overhead are a lot of stones and roots. And then there's a round door, a stone door that is fixed into the face of this entrance. It looks quite large, it's probably about 10 feet tall. And carved on it are clear signs of some sort of narrative or myth, divided into 3 panels. So,
Three
it's got
moon
some dirt
phases.
and vines on it. Maybe, but it's a little weirder than that. There's some definite like figures that are non-human, I would say.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting. It just I know we haven't described it fully in detail yet, but you're saying it's like divided
Mhm.
into 3 parts, and then is it like a
Mhm.
figure for each part, and then it's like the temple at the center or somewhere?
Sort of, yeah. There's the first panel shows a sky deity up in the
Hmm.
clouds, and there's a female figure, smaller figure coming down on a slender rope or thread, and she's lowering herself towards what appears to be a little tiny island. And then the sky god is pointing as if to tell her to go there. So that's the first
Hmm.
panel. Second panel, and if you want repeats of these, I'll be happy to give them.
Hmm.
Or I can actually put it in the chat. Second panel shows that female figure from the first panel, but she is confronting a sea dragon, or what's called a naga, and she's holding a
Hmm.
sword, a saber, which she has stabbed into its tail, and the dragon is thrashing around ferociously. So like it's all tangled up and tails going all over the place. And the third and final panel depicts the female hero of this story holding hands with a man with a lizard head, and they're ascending into the skies. And it looks like they're headed towards a crescent moon. So there is a phase of a moon in that panel. And then
Got it.
below them, there are smaller figures, which, in the same sort of relative scale of the sky deity being bigger than the female, these are much smaller even than the female and the
Hmm.
lizard headed guy. And they're holding what looks like a round object of some kind. And this is positioned roughly in the center of the circle. It appears to be like maybe a pearl or an orb of some kind, and they look similar to each other also.
Got it. And then just to clarify, that necklace for the top wasn't round, was it? Or at least maybe it's
Mm,
looks similar to what would go here, but what goes here is bigger.
yes, yeah,
Okay,
I'd
okay,
say
it's
that's more
similar then.
more the latter. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Um, Interesting. And just to clarify, those much smaller figures on the last one, those are still people-looking figures, I presume.
Yes, yes,
Got it.
humanoid, no lizard heads for them.
Do they look like
Interesting.
children, or do they look like
It could be
just
Like they've
small
interpreted.
ascended in
human?
some
Yeah.
way.
Could be interpreted as related in some way to the couple that's
Yeah.
ascending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you could make a cunning, culture, intellect, humanities. Any of those could help you out in trying to understand the
Uh,
significance of this.
Good cunning culture. I'm imagining it's like a god demigod situation.
Mhm.
Uh,
Part of me wants Fee to to show that she's the second best at this whole figuring
Well,
out.
there's nothing to say you can't all roll this if you
Yeah.
wanted. So more than one roll
Gotcha.
is acceptable.
So yeah, V is finally kind of stepping out from and looking over everything and kind of talking to herself, like describing what she's seeing in
Mhm.
kind of like single steps and trying to figure out kind of like the story slash what the figures are trying to tell.
Mhm.
And while she's doing that, I'm going to roll some dice. No, that's not helpful. I'm going to roll uh, intellect plus culture,
Okay.
and I also
Uh,
do have would useful esoterica help here?
oh yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
then
So that's the text description of what you're looking at right there, if you're curious. Now, if Alistair is making this check, he will have an increased difficulty because he's weirded out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hell
Just
yeah.
FYI.
Love it for me.
yeah. Give me a second. Hey, so I got 2 successes.
Okay, that's enough. So you can determine that this triptych of carvings depicts a version of a Batak creation myth. And it seems also to be something of like advising the visitors of the significance of this place.
All right, so V will kind of slowly, not touch it, but kind of put her hand, near it to kind of follow along
Mm-hmm.
and say, this is some sort of creation myth.
Ooh,
So
okay.
So in the now, how do you want me to send you a private message with the details, or do you want me to just tell you what you said?
Yeah, go ahead and
All right.
just give the
So
information here.
using your knowledge of symbols and semiotics and just general creation myths, the sky god clearly is some sort of like the chiefmost deity. Um, he had a female deity that wanted to flee from her husband to be, who was this lizard man. So she used a thread to drop into a middle realm, which the sky god basically he took a handful of dirt and he created the earth in that way. So that island is the earth when the first person descends from the sky.
Mm.
She encounters a Naga of the underworld with her sword. She manages to fix him in the ground in the place with her sword through his tail, but his thrashing is what causes some related earthquakes from, antiquity. And then she and the former lizard god married, and they became sort of the progenitors of the Batak people, which in this story are those two smaller figures on the land after the deities depart. And
Mhm.
the thing that is sort of standing out to you is that pearl is not something you're aware of in any of the creation myths of the Batak. That seems like a new addition, maybe.
And so remind me, like, at what point is the
Hmm.
pearl depicted in this story? Like, what in
In
relation
the
to
It's in the third
number
picture.
3?
Yeah, it's the last sort of
Oh,
item with
yes.
the,
Yeah.
the two little people are holding it.
Yes. Okay. And
And you would
Ismaiah said
Mhm.
that he had found, was it masks and idols? Like, we're not seeing those in this area, are we?
I think he was interpreting the images of the gods as
Got
reminding
it.
him of the
Of the
kind of ritual
Oh, gotcha.
masks and figurines that he's seen. So he's like,
Yes,
yes, I
that's more familiar to
recognize
me. Yeah.
these are deities of some sort. Yeah.
Perfect. You were going to say something before I asked that. What was it?
I was just going to say the pearl is notable. You think it's a pearl because they're culturally, Drew, that V would know that pearls appear in some other Indonesian myths,
Yeah,
basically. That's why it's otherwise it's just a circle in
right.
the middle of the door.
How can you tell that this scratch in the door means pearl and not
Yeah.
other spherical
Mhm.
object? But yeah, V says, "Huh, there's uh, you two seem to know more about this culture than I do. Have you heard of them talk about some sort of pearl gift from the gods?"
Uh, I don't think I have. I wouldn't presume so. But I'm thinking if there's a bunch of jagged rocks around here, that could be results of some thrashing or earthquake. Pearl, where would you get that?
And
Yeah.
Maybe there's some seawater reservoir that we can find that has a pearl in it. Your sniffer can sniff some salt water that's not coast direction.
I have
But
a question,
yeah.
Yes.
Alistair.
Mhm.
Does this imply that the Batak are lizards?
Um,
Half lizard.
could be related for a lot of reasons. Lizards, snakes, reptiles have regenerative properties. They're often seen as royal. Um, Creation myths often have them. So do apocalypse myths. It could just be that snakes are significant to them, and they've described a significant figure with a snake. Um, Not to say it's not important, but only culturally, potentially, unless it's real.
And there's a lizard man hanging
yeah,
out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
V's eyebrow does go up when he says, "Unless it's real," and then if he goes, "Huh?" Like even though
Huh?
she's heard stories of this sort of stuff, it's usually she's doing her best Indiana Jones impersonation here of just being
Mhm.
like, "What do you mean the
The
magic isn't
skeptic.
real?" Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. So yeah.
I think it's the paranoia that makes Alistair believe it's like it could be real.
Yes. No, that's a really excellent summary of the significance of the symbols because that's all pretty accurate.
yeah.
Yeah, the Naga, the royalty, the experience of there being some demi-human entity related to the origin of the mankind. It's not unusual necessarily.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
it's also
say.
something that's come up before in some place, but I
Mhm.
think the difficult part is relating all this into a direction to follow to find it.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, this is just saying to whoever comes here, this is the story, and
mhm,
this place somehow relates to that. And the significance of the pearl's location in the center seems notable.
yeah, like we could always circumvent this, and like this is old. There's probably
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
already collapsed we could get into, something that's weak that we could collapse to get into, but
Yeah.
I prefer not to for many reasons.
Hmm.
Um, One is any structural damage could cause a lot more problems further on,
Hmm.
and the Pentatowski want to use dynamite, so
Hmm.
we probably won't be able to avoid it later. I'd rather not help them along.
Yeah.
At the
Oh,
very
I was
least,
just
if
gonna
we
say,
get
let's
in,
wait for them and use their dynamite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
that is true, but I think being ahead of them is more important potentially.
So as you're
Um,
all looking at this door, you can tell that there's something about the pearl that looks like it's raised slightly from the facade of the stone.
I push it.
All right. So
it's a
as you
button.
Yeah.
I thought it
there
was the
is
opposite. I thought it was recessed.
Uh,
no, when he pushes it, it recesses, and you hear,
Ah,
that vague Indiana Jones style stone stuff happening in the background that we don't really see.
hmm.
And then the stone door heavily rolls to the right side of the passage, opening a circular entranceway into the temple proper.
he looks over at Dietrich and says, "You did know that was going to open the door, right?"
Not at all.
In my weirded out state, I'm like, are my eyes broken? I thought that wasn't a button. I didn't think that was. I thought that was recessed. I thought we had to find something. I was like, I'm
No.
shaking my head like, oh God, I'm out of it.
there is something a little off-putting about how easy that was, which suggests that, well, first off, the next chamber you could see it definitely Sean's your character smells seawater, like old seawater, like mud and fishiness in there. Like
Hmm.
this has been flooded with seawater at some point, but right now it is mostly dry. It's caked with old mud on the floor and parts of the walls. You can see that there's tiles, and on those tiles there's some designs on them.
I'm
And
gonna back out and light a torch.
okay, cool.
And because I'm still
If
paranoid of these temples, I'm
Mhm.
gonna throw the
Mm,
torch in there a few feet.
okay, sure. As you do that, you see that it hits one of the tiles on the floor, and there's water starts to enter into the temple, and that rolling stone door starts to roll back into place.
Shoot.
You
Uh,
think if you
Um,
want to get in there, you'll have to do something quickly. Or of course, you could just wait outside if you'd rather do that.
we can press the button again.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't. V does look at the button again, but she'll say out loud, I don't think that'll reset the what's going on in there.
but no,
um,
this has happened many times, so
Mhm.
I'm guessing it's just a trap mechanism.
Yeah.
Um,
So as you're talking, there's a solid thud as the stone door rolls back into place, and you can hear water rushing into that other chamber. You see some of it
ah,
spilling down the steps and out of the cracks, but not a lot. And you're pretty confident, at least for a little bit, there's a lot of water in there that could potentially drown somebody. And then shortly after that, it starts to spout out, like after several minutes, I should say, not
Yeah,
shortly. And then
mhm.
you see, or you could tell that it's hollower in there. Sounds like it's back reset to what you had before, albeit slightly
Okay.
wetter.
we need Thor
I was gonna
to
say
trick
if
the
we
sea.
wanted to head in, trick the sea. If you wanted to
Mhm.
head in, I know I suggested maybe bring Ismaya or at least the necklace and such, but didn't want to bring him in case we immediately ran into danger. Do we
Mhm.
think it's worth it to maybe head back, or do we think if this is going to continue looking as trapped as it is, maybe it's better to not risk him and maybe just get the necklace?
As you're talking, you hear a soft poof, and in the sky, it's still
Uh,
daytime. You see a red little cloud pop of a flare going off.
okay.
Hmm.
I think it's better we turn back.
Can
Yeah.
are we able to see the boat from this vantage at any point if we like
Hmm.
move closer to an edge?
Yeah, I think so. It's steep enough that you can just kind of peek over the edge and see him down there, and
Can
he's
I do
waving and
that via
pointing.
my scope?
Yeah,
Or if I don't need to, then I won't.
sure. Yeah. He's pointing. You follow with your, we see from the audience point of view the gobo shot of the scope scanning the horizon, and then seeing another boat, a bigger one for whatever reason, because the bad guy's more black smoke coming out of the the steam pipe, and there's definitely a fair number of people. It looks like around eight. You see a man standing at the prow, who's standing there boldly and smugly watching, and he looks a lot like Treat Williams, if you know who that is. I have an image of him. I'll put it in Discord. I'm not quite sure how
How
to get
old
it
of a
in.
Treat Williams are we talking?
This is
Like the substitute?
Phantom era treatments. Yeah, it's around the same time, early 90s. Let's see. Where is he? Yeah, and he is not dressed for he's like in a business suit with suspenders. Doesn't look like he has a shoulder holster underneath the suit though. And he's got the evil bad guy thin mustache.
Now, I know what you all are thinking. Can I sink the boat with this? And the answer is probably, but that's premeditated murder.
Yeah. And
Um,
likely to cause damage and beyond
collateral
just,
damage.
yeah,
Damage to
Okay,
what?
the
our own ship
ocean.
maybe.
Yes. our own ship,
You
the
pose the
ocean. Uh,
The ocean is way too big to take damage from anything. You just pour the whole ship in there.
The
Yeah.
bigger you are, the more invincible.
Mhm.
Do we want to rush back and see if we can help Ismaya, or do we think we're better off rushing in and getting a head start?
Um, I think we should keep an eye on him just to be sure
Yeah.
that they don't try and, you
Kill
know.
You
him.
do
unfortunately,
see
he did
one of the
fire a flare gun.
one of the goon squad that is on board the Ponitaski boat is pointing towards your steamer and where Ismaya is.
Yeah, we gotta.
Okay,
Uh,
if we rush back, maybe we can at least be at the same pace,
yeah.
and get him out.
Okay. So who wants to try to get Ismaya up and out of the boat? Because you just need to lower some rope, really. It's not.
I think Drew is probably
Oh,
the
I was
best
gonna
suited to
jump.
doing it.
Oh, what was Dietrich, what were you gonna do?
I said I was gonna jump.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. So this will be a cliff dive. We'll say it's difficulty 2. There's a complication of sharp rocks of 1 point. Basically, you're going to land in the water somewhere, but I'll say if you fail this, then you don't arrive in time to get him out of the boat and might actually end up on the deck when the bad guys show up. And if you don't
Mhm.
buy off the complication, you take 1 injury.
My goal is to just land on the ground.
Okay.
You could use
So
the
Oh, that's right.
force
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah.
He can't die, so he just flop. Do you do this thing where you put out your arms and just fall backwards,
Wait
or
for
you
that's
that.
not that
actually?
dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Just hop
Yeah.
off.
Luckily, V is not a stalwart, or she would 100% do that. She is.
Oh, you could
If you
do it.
want
You're
to,
Daredevil.
Yeah,
true.
There'd be
yeah.
a vine.
It would be different. Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
get your
You
sleeve
would do
caught
some
on
tech thing.
something.
Yeah. Flip 3 times and somehow still land.
Perfectly.
Relatively feetwards rather than like
Somehow
neck
there's
first.
a bale of hay like in Assassin's Creed just lying there.
Mm. If you want some enhancement, you probably have a destructive facet. That seems to be the vibe of your guy.
Yeah,
I
totally.
have a 1 in each, but
I got it.
what is the difficulty for this roll?
Difficulty 2 with 1 complication for sharp rocks. And then any
Okay.
kind of athletics or dex, balancy type stuff. Stamina could probably work if you're just flopping.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll stamina athletics.
Okay.
To endure the flop.
Yes.
Flopping.
Yeah.
Three.
Nice. You do it. So yeah, you land heavily on the kind of muddy ground, just shy of hitting any of the sharp rocks. So you're there near the boat. Ismaya looks up at you and looks in surprise at what you just did. And then he starts saying, should I get out of here? Who are those? Are those the pirates? Okay, yes. Okay. So he hops out, starts going up to the rocks, and I'm gonna say that you can climb up the rocks pretty safely. But you do see those of you that are watching from above,
Mhm.
you see Jackson Landley point, like a guy raises a rifle, basically, and he's
Mhm.
like, no, don't. And then he just
Yeah.
kind of waves at you with a sort of weird smile.
I
Can
shift
I?
between Ismaya and the guy with the rifle.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I want to take, if I can, the scope, or if anyone has a kind of a what's it for telescope type thing.
Mhm.
Or I probably have binoculars on me, but I want
Yeah.
to use that, and I want to try and get as close as I can at faces, especially if people in charge. See if I can spot middle management. I have a photographic memory, and
Okay,
I want to
sure.
memorize faces I can steal later.
Yes, absolutely.
Even if
So
it's
yeah,
just one, I probably don't have the time to do
so
more than one.
these guys are from Central Casting for Goon Squad, so like multinational. So it's a good mix of guys. But yeah, mostly kind of whitish, I would say, probably.
Mhm.
You suspect some of them might be Dutch, actually, I would think.
Got it. I know that
Um,
language.
oh, cool.
We'll polyglot that bitch.
Yeah.
You're ahead of me. So they're kind of in this vein. white
Got it.
guys in jungle gear.
Coolio. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just
Mhm.
wanted to pick some faces just in case maybe later I can
Yeah.
quietly remove someone and then take the place.
Yes. So the guy on the bottom is the one that had the rifle, I'll say. James
Got it.
Remar, if you're curious. Let's
Yeah.
see who that is.
And the
But
one who told him to lower it is the guy we were aware of before,
yeah,
the
that's
mercenary.
Treat Williams, the thin mustache business suit guy, is the one who said don't
Got it.
shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another face I'll remember. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just
Mhm.
wanted to have those in back because you can't
Yeah.
impersonate people if you don't know who they are.
Mm.
Oh, good call. So Ismaya scrambles up the rocks with the assistance of Dietrich, and he's panting as he comes up. He's like, "Oh, are they going to kill us? What's going to happen?"
They might try.
Don't
Uh,
want to take the chance that they will.
All right.
if he
He's
actually focuses on Ishmael and says, they're
Mhm.
not going to kill us yet, but that doesn't mean that
Yeah,
we're.
very calming
Yeah.
to tell people it's not going to happen yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's looking around. He's nervous, but he also looks excited when he sees that you're back at the stone door. He's like, "There it is, as I said." Could not figure out how to open it, but I didn't want to risk it. But I think we might need to now.
Uh, V,
Yes.
Oh,
There
about that.
Yeah.
there is a trap inside,
Oh,
but we just need to take it slow.
why would there be a trap here?
I don't
Oh,
know.
is this a place of trials?
Uh,
Yes, maybe.
that is so obvious now that you say it. This is
Yeah.
why you're amazing. We need to keep you with us.
Yes, he says. Well, I mean, usually it's not this elaborate, but yes, often the young men or women of the village are sent out on trials into caves and
Mhm.
things. But this is far beyond anything I've seen before. But yes, I would be cautious.
Perfect. Then probably the first test is a bit of ingenuity and holding your breath. It's a
Hmm.
bit of water. Hope you can swim.
Okay.
uh,
Now I'm going to say I didn't mention one detail in that room that will
Mhm.
probably clue you into a way of dealing with it.
To be
Um,
fair, we didn't step in very fully. We immediately were
no,
like,
yeah.
throw a
yeah,
torch.
yes,
We-
you're like throw a torch, water comes in, shut the door.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go
So
in the drowning room that we don't know how to get out of.
yeah, so that chamber
Yeah.
is very wet now. It smells very seawatery. You see more mud, maybe even some fishes flopping around, and but otherwise the water's receded. And you notice that in addition to the tiles, there are cracks in the floor. There's four of them spaced out that have sort of open mouth fish faces, and that's where the seawater was coming in through. You also see that there is what appears to be a rocky sort of raised area in the middle of the tiles.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So there's a couple ways
Okay.
to do this. Just
Mhm.
narratively, you could describe what you want to do and see what happens. But you already know that if you step on one of the tiles, it triggers the trap. There's also something that is a complex task that you could use to represent your efforts collectively to navigate this particular death trap.
Now, is there an obvious exit on the other side?
No, there's no obvious door on the other side.
Got it.
So we can't do the
Um,
trick of throwing the person who can't die in there and then
How long
wait and see how
did
they figure it out.
yeah.
the water stay?
A few minutes,
Uh,
wasn't it?
do you have an ability that helps you hold your breath a long time?
I've got Hardy.
You think you
Um,
might be able to hold your breath that long? It's on the outside. It's on in the realm of like current 1934 human record for holding your breath, I would say.
well, also, I mean, I'll just wait until the last minute to go under. I've got this.
All right.
Uh,
So, what do you want the other guys to do? Hang back or
Uh, please don't let them sneak up on us, guys.
Mhm.
I don't know which one of these looks
Question.
weaker.
We can't be in the chamber with you while you do it if you're going to do it on your own, right? We need to be on the outside, but if you're going to have
I
to
mean, if
find
you
an
want
entrance,
to hold your breath.
yeah.
If
like
you want to,
that's
if
what I
you want to
mean.
compete
Yeah,
for holding your
Like what
breath,
I'm
yeah.
saying is, you're going to do it. You're going to do it on your own. If there's an entrance to
Mhm.
find and it closes behind you, we need to know where it is. So
yes.
I'm going to look over your shoulder. I have a gift for that.
Oh,
So I
sweet.
won't be very helpful with anything physical while that's happening, but I could basically see basically have your vision and my own overlapping. So like for the scene, I'll see what you see. And so if you find a door and it closes behind you, we can then do the trial, but cheat effectively.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So what's the ritual, if there's any ritual for Alistair to do this? Does he have to like touch Dietrich's
I
head,
will
or
double check if there's touch specifically involved, but I think it's just anyone
no.
within my line of sight that I see, I can use their
really?
vision.
Okay.
So it's because
Well, I'm just thinking in the narrative, just
Right.
because
yeah,
pulp
that's what I'm thinking.
psychic
Yeah.
stuff. Are you going
Yeah,
or are you
So I
like
think
doing little
what
hand
happens
things?
is it's having to catch the eye. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
And so I just like ask him to just like look at me for a second, and I look into his eyes, and he sees like in front of him that the whites of my eyes become almost like crystal looking. So it's almost like,
Ooh,
and then they kind of smooth it out to like a mirror-like thing, and he sees his own face in the whites of my eyes, and then the
geez.
pupils
All
of
right.
the color of my eyes changes to his. So like
All
I have
right.
his eye color, and he sees his own face in my eyes.
Nice. I'll give you
uh,
another point of momentum here
we're
for the
really burning
description.
the budget on that one.
Yeah, that's right.
I
And,
have
yeah.
I have a very man in the mirror type aesthetic to a lot of Alistair's things.
Oh,
Like he's
okay,
kind of
gotcha.
creepy when he gets going.
Yeah, and he's the one who's weirded out. So,
Yeah, so
He's leading it.
yeah.
I hand her a rifle that's
Oh,
probably the
okay.
size of her.
yeah, she
Lean your
had-
shoulder into it.
Yeah.
she looks at Ismaya and says, and then she kind of like with her other hand she pulls out her revolver and says, like offers them each
Yeah,
each
okay.
one, like, which one do you want?
He shrugs and takes the big rifle. Yeah.
And then
I can't shoot, especially like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
He does not look super familiar with the rifle, but he's gonna hold it at least.
Like he said, strong on the shoulder.
Mhm.
Don't just click on it. And
All right.
Full expect kickback.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my knowledge.
So you guys see Dietrich step into the chamber. You stay on
After
the
I strip off
outside.
my shirt.
Oh, of course.
Of course, of course.
I'm not
It
actually
wouldn't be pulp if you
that
weren't
buff at
giving
all.
beefcake.
He's not buff. Okay, but
No, I only have Mike too.
he's rangy. I would say.
Yeah,
would be the word
I
there.
was gonna say
in the
that.
novel they use the word rangy or ropey.
I'm gamey.
Stringy.
Gamey.
Gamey beef.
That's wow. Yeah. All right.
That's the cannibal island.
Yeah. So the way we do this, this is gonna be a milestone thing, I think. So the first milestone is all right. So it's got a 3-point field complication called flooding. So it's a pretty steep complication, but you can make the first check is a stamina plus athletics to withstand the rush of water with your footing. So give me a roll for that for Diedrich.
And if it's possible, like probably with the water, probably not. But if there's any point he can hear me, I will. If we can test that at any point and be aware of it, I'll try and be. I'm literally a second pair of eyes, so if there's something I notice in his vision he doesn't, I'll try and point it out. But I don't have any
Okay.
special way to communicate with this, so
Oh.
it's if you can't hear me, you can't hear me.
Right. Yeah, this is pretty loud. Future
Yeah, I
milestones,
imagine so.
you'll probably be able to give him a little more tips.
Yeah, so how much momentum do we have?
You have
6.
six.
A lot.
Yeah.
Because
Good
that's my
ideas and
roll.
fail badly.
So I can spend up to 3.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try and roll those 3 dice to get at least 1 success.
All right.
I do. I get 1 success.
Okay. So, do you want to take the complication? So the complication here would be either injury caused by water inhalation. Oh wait, are you saying you got 4 total?
No, I got 1.
No, okay, just 1. So yeah, if you take the complication, you can take an injury from the water inhalation. You can get a status condition of stunned for 1 round as you struggle to stay afloat, or you can lose a piece of equipment such as a weapon, rope, flashlight, etc.
Well, since I left those on the other side, I guess that's not a fair one to choose.
Mhm. being stunned would suck because then you're not being able to
Stunned
do
in
any
the
more
water.
milestones. Yeah. You have 6 attempts total to take. So
I'm
you could do
going
that.
to just take the injury.
Yeah. Okay. So from his vision, Dietrich
Mhm.
somewhat strangely calmly starts to take in some water, basically. You hear him sputtering and stuff. I don't know if you can hear, but you can tell he's struggling a little.
I can see
Uh,
the movements of like, okay, kind of hold
yes.
on.
Yeah.
hmm Four is tricky to see.
Yes. Milestone 2. This will be cunning plus enigmas or resolve plus integrity. This is where you can help him out through your
hmm
secondary vision. Do you want to?
yeah, if I could make the attempt to, I
Mhm.
have cunning and enigmas specifically.
All right.
So I can really try and guide as best I can. Um,
Okay.
I have resolve and integrity. Not a
hey,
lot,
Okay.
but
So I'll
I
say
have,
you can, if you roll together, one of you
I
can
can maybe
give
give
your,
enhancements.
yes, you can give enhancement to the other guy.
Cool. I'll roll first then because you're the one probably actually doing
Yeah,
the trial, so
he
Yeah.
it'd be good
has,
to know.
yeah, Dietrich does have to deal with the field complication. You don't.
Yeah.
So,
I got one success. So I will
okay.
be not buying off the complication.
All right. Do you want to take
I
another
don't think
injury
this.
or be stunned for 1 round?
Um, I'll take the injury.
Okay.
Just to double check, 'cause I think I'm gonna spend an inspiration to also I should have spent one earlier to do the shoulder thing, but I might add one to add some enhancements to this. Is that how it works?
Sure.
It's enhancements when you
Hmm.
spend it,
Yes.
equal
So it
to the
just,
fastest.
yeah. So as long as you get 1 success, you'll get extra successes equal to your fast.
Cool. Yo, gonna use the intuitive one.
Okay. Makes
Um,
sense.
that should be right.
Hmm. Hey, 3.
Hell yeah, I needed the enhancements.
All right. So yeah, you are able to figure out that the rocky island
Mhm.
that's now covered by the seawater that was in the center. You
Yeah,
believe that if you go to that and apply pressure to it, it might be enabled like to a counterweight or open a door or something to stop the flooding of the chamber.
it's what the guy was pointing to on the picture. Okay, our 3 trials. I get it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Perfect. Hell yeah, I will uh, indicate that as best I can. I will admit I don't
Yeah,
have the best ideas to how to right now.
that's fair. I think
Maybe as part
you.
of spending the inspiration, it pushes the link, and maybe I could just focus his vision, like I darken the
Mhm.
edges of it.
Right, right. You see in your mind's eye for a moment, Dietrich or Dieter?
Let's go with Derek. I'm an American now.
Derek. That's right. So sorry.
He's
So
westernized.
yes, Derek, you see a brief moment, a flash of the image of that island from the carving on the door.
Okay. Yes. How full is the chamber so far?
It's quite full at this point because we're on milestone 3, so it's like halfway up to the top. So it's not all the way there, but you're swimming around. You're having a pretty rough time. Milestone 3 would be might plus technology or dexterity plus survival to apply enough pressure on the platform to shut it off.
All right. Dexterity plus survival it is. Now, I don't think polyglot or wealth will help here. So,
No, it's notoriously known that wealth doesn't tend to help in death traps, usually. Unless you pay somebody else to go in, I guess.
Yeah. Once you're in the death trap, it's too late.
just one, unfortunately.
Okay.
Although, can I spend one inspiration or one momentum?
Yeah, sure.
Just one, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So, you are gonna have to also deal with stunned or an injury. How many injuries do you have? 2?
Yes. I can take
Okay.
one more, then be fine at the end of the scene.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
So it's like
I'll
the
take
sort of
stunned.
the brute force Houdini method of just
Yeah.
taking this drowning. So yeah, stunned, so you won't be able to act on the next round. but you do succeed, which is significant because that stops the trap. You apply enough pressure onto the surface of the island, kind of pushing down as you're floating over it, and it makes a retracting stone clockwork noise. And you see underneath you, the floor just drops out, and you're dropped down through the middle of the chamber,
How
past
far?
past yeah, about 10 feet. Oof. So it's significant, but not enough to really hurt you, I would say.
So I hit the ground and then just spray out water.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah. And now you notice that the stone door that was shut is still shut, but you suspect it'll retract or reset at some point. You could decide to try to interfere with it and try to get in so that you can join him in that chamber down below, or you could stay outside and wait for it to reset. But then you might have to still deal with the trap. So what do Alistair and V want to do?
So V's gonna look over and just say, "Well, he's gotten through. Now, how the rest of us gotta get there?" And she's still facing away from the whatever's going on in there because,
You're keeping
yeah,
an eye out.
yeah,
Looks like Jackson Landry's crew of 8 or so members of an expedition, they are taking a different route. So it's going to take them a little longer to get to you, but they will reach you eventually.
right.
I'll say you see one of them swim out to your boat and take it over, though.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We should have planted a flag.
That would stop them.
So through the eyes of Derek, Alistair, you and Derek see that you're in another chamber that is a larger space than the last, and has a kind of strangely uneven floor made up of geometrically fitted columns that are kind of locked into each other, and they kind of make a weird kind of voxel style landscape. Looks like a miniature of the nearby mountains. One of the columns near the entrance has a stone sculpture designed to look like the tail of a naga, and there's a slot in the side of that tail. And then hanging from a chain in the ceiling near the far end of the chamber, about 8 feet off of the uneven floor, is an old rusty saber. And then the far wall of the entrance, about 50 feet away, has a sculptural design with wrathful eyes and a fanged mouth suggestive of the maw of a naga. You also see that there are weird spiked protrusions in the ceiling. So I'm going to
Are
put
there any
this down.
rocks in here?
Sure.
Does it look like I could knock the saber down with a well-placed rock?
Maybe.
I'll try that.
Okay.
I have aim.
And so as you're watching, you can see, Alistair, that the trapdoor in the ceiling is starting to automatically retract.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I was muted for a while by accident, so I was like,
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
I was
Yeah,
like,
it's okay.
I was like, he hasn't said anything. What's going on?
Totally my fault.
Yeah.
Earlier I was saying, was there going to be a way V could maybe speed up the process from the outside,
Mhm.
of just this door unlocking,
Mhm.
and things like that. But I think if it's already closing up, I think it's not going to take very long,
Mhm.
hopefully. But if there's still a way to speed it up,
Yeah.
I think that could be useful, especially if by knowing how to speed it up, she can figure out a way to prevent it from opening again, so
So
that they are
V,
forced to use dynamite.
do you have technology? You might use that to try to figure that out.
Oh, yeah, I do have technology. I have lots of technology.
All right.
If I could do the assisting thing again, I'd like to try because I have a larceny specialty for casing the joint, so I can maybe
Okay.
point to things that
Yeah.
are weak spot. I
So
also have an edge for weak spot, but I don't know if that applies to things.
it helps you with milestones like this for complex
Mhm.
tasks. I forget exactly what the wording is, but
Oh, I can re-roll a failed attempt with weak
oh,
spots
sweet.
Okay.
Okay.
or ignore a single
So
complication.
we got a couple things happening at the same time. So first, let's
Mhm.
catch up with Derek. So Derek picks up a
Mhm.
rock, flings it, hits the chain that the saber is attached to, and breaks it. and the saber does clatter to the floor. As he's doing that, the trapdoor in the ceiling starts to shut, and he starts to notice that the platforms underneath his feet are starting to rise, kind of undulating almost like an earthquake. And they're
That's
moving
fine. This is fine.
gradually towards the ceiling where the spikes are, and you do see some skeletal remains dangling from some of the spikes in the ceiling.
I feel so bad.
So,
He sent it to his doom.
Where can
Get-
I stab this saber? Where was the Naga stabbed in the?
The
In
tail.
the tail.
I stab it in the tail, and by
All
Yeah,
stab it I
right.
there's
mean
a
put it in the
slot.
hole.
Well, before you do that, let's catch up with V and Alistair. So,
Mhm.
Alistair, you're helping the case the joint thing.
Yeah.
Uh, we could just give that as straight enhancement if you want, or you can roll.
Well, yeah, even if you just want to take the specialty that I would have gotten and give that to her as an
Mm,
enhancement, I think
yeah,
that
No.
works.
that works.
All
So
So,
right.
one enhancement on it.
yeah, let's give me a roll for the technology check here to see if you can figure out a quick way to reset the water chamber without drowning.
We have the momentum to beef it up if we get one
Oh
success
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah.
absolutely. And you could also use dramatic editing to say there's a flaw somewhere in this and just say, oh, look,
Mhm.
there's a thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I think we should start with something that kind of like makes it obvious, like either
Hmm.
like part of the
Yeah.
rock thing is exposed in such a way that it
Especially after we've run it twice quickly
Hmm.
together. Like there's might something that actually just broke right now.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
timing would go off. Yeah.
right.
So do you want to spend how much do you want to spend on the dramatic edit? One or two? You don't
Just
need
one.
three.
Yeah,
Just one.
I was gonna
Okay.
say it doesn't have to
So
be
Maybe it's an
easy
extra
to use,
enhancement.
but it's
if you
it'll
if you can get into the drowning chamber and get to where that trapdoor is, you could force it open and lock it in place so that
Mhm.
it remains open, and then even if the water comes through, you can just get out that way.
okay.
So and what did you get on your have you rolled the technology check
I
yet?
have not yet. I was making that
All right.
full when we were
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll that. And if you do, then we'll say that's what you do. You spring into action once
Yeah.
the stone rolls out of the
You have
way,
the
run in.
enhancements as well.
Yeah.
yes. One
And we have
enhancement.
momentum to beef it up.
Yes.
Mhm.
If we
And
need.
I still have all my inspiration and et cetera, et cetera. We've got a lot of ways of
Oh yeah. There is
Yeah.
no end of resources for these characters.
I got
Okay.
2 successes.
All right. So yeah, V quickly moves into action. She what are you going to use to pry into the do you have like a tool or something that you want to use?
No, I imagine unfortunately we're gonna have to use like some of the vine slash uh, tree work from outside. Given that there's
Okay.
lots of vegetation,
You
just
rip a tree branch and some vines from the wall, run over, wedge into the base of the island thing in the middle, and push down together until you, well, actually, I guess is here's a question: is Alistair having to just stand outside while he's got double vision?
No, he can do things. He just if he needs to like lead a physical action, he has a +2 complication.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He can 100% do stuff. It's just much more
Right.
difficult because he has
Cool.
to account for both visions and be
So
like, okay, what's here, what's not.
the two of you, what's your might? The
V's might is 2.
all right. So with
Mine
your
is
mighty
one.
your mighty might, the two of you, it's more about leverage really than
Yeah.
strength.
It's more
So
about technology.
Yeah, I was gonna
so
say she
you pull it
she
together.
she makes up for her lack of strength with engineering
Understanding
ingenuity.
physics.
Yeah,
Mhm. So yeah, it breaks off, but it does wedge in there enough that you push down the thing, and as the stone roll, you know, like as you've already stepped on a tile, probably at this point, the stone door rolls behind you. Water starts to fill the chamber, but you've popped open that hatch, and you drop down through the ceiling just in time to see Derek running over, trying to make his way across the rising and falling platforms. So there's an
Mhm.
unstable floor complication for this. And it'd probably be something like might plus technology
Mhm.
or close combat if Derek wants to try to stab into that tail section.
I'll cut the shared vision as soon as we are in the room.
Okay, cool.
You might be muted. I I'm not hearing anything anyway.
I think
Um,
he's just rolling right now.
Okay, yeah. Never mind. So
Yeah, there's a. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of words in the
Oh
the
yeah.
chat to.
I gave you my full text blob.
We love a text blob. So informative.
So the 3 successes was for the throw of the rock, right?
3 or 4 if it counts as an
Yes,
attack.
yeah. So you knocked the saber out of the ceiling, and now you need to make a might plus technology check to get the sword into that tail or close combat. And the difficulty is going to be 2 with a 1-point complication of an unstable.
All right, might plus close combat. Let's go.
So you scramble across the top of the columns as they're rising and falling, pick up the rusty saber, and then start making your way back across.
Trying to think of which facet I might be able to use here to help out.
Um, I'd say either intuitive or destructive would probably make the most sense.
I don't know why I'm asking. They're all the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't you say they were all the
One
same?
point, yeah.
Do I
Well,
want-
for descriptive purposes. Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
Do I want
100%.
one enhancement or do I want one enhancement?
One
Choices
enhancement
are
with spice or one enhancement with texture.
yes.
2 successes. So
All right. So you can either buy off the complication or take yet another complication. Now, in this case, the complication will only be +1 to your on difficulty of your next turn. There's the injury option again, or you're thrown off your feet and you cannot take a movement action on your next turn. Any of these don't really matter aside from injury because you will have successfully disabled the trap. So go ahead and just
I'll take
go
the
ahead and-
throw on my feet.
Yeah. So you slide, you get there and then you're just knocked onto your side. And go ahead and describe how you get the spear or the saber in there.
How high off the ground is it? Do I have to like climb?
Yeah, it's like, it's these columns going like this, so you're kind of like hopping across to them.
All right, hop from column to column. I'm gonna grip the saber in my teeth so I can use my arms for balance,
Sweet. Yeah.
and then jump towards it, and then trip slightly and fling it so that it lands inside with
Nice.
with some luck.
Yeah, of course. So how much momentum do we have right now? 3?
Yes.
5, I think, because I think. Oh no, yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
you
we
spent
we
3. Sorry,
spent
I
a
think it was
bunch of
less.
it to.
So you're at 4
Yeah.
now. Say you get a reward for the description. Good job. And yeah, you now have the toppling platforms start to sink back down into a rough flat shape now instead of the mountain sort of landscape. And the door at the end of the chamber starts to rise, leaving the maw of the dragon's mouth open. And beyond that, you see another large chamber. Looks like the final chamber for a number of reasons, because we're nearing 9 o'clock. Let's take a short break as you guys successfully navigate the first 2 trials and face the last one.
Hell yeah.
So let's do a. Do you have the ability to take us off the feed for second, Drew?
Yes, I do. So
All right.
On the intermission.
Yeah. This is
Welcome.
our. Yes. So we'll take about 10 minutes. Sound good?
Yeah,
works
sound
for
good.
me.
All right. Hello. So, everybody, we're back for the conclusion of Temple of the Moon God. Our heroes have successfully navigated the trials of the temple and have made their way to the final chamber. But unfortunately, they have also left the way open for Jackson Landry and his goon squad to swoop in and potentially claim what they have found. So, as we begin this is a new scene. So, everybody gets 1 point of inspiration back.
Hell
Any
yeah.
scene triggered things are reset. Uh, so let me describe the chamber that you find yourselves in. Uh, looks like a circular domed space with archaic constellation sort of carved on the ceiling. About 50 feet from the entrance, there's a locked door that appears to be covered in a complex sequence of gears made of stone. So, like, facing you is the actual locking mechanism. The door looks like it's the final chamber, or the final challenge, I should say. And as it happens, as you guys are making your way into this chamber with your friend Ismaya carrying the big rifle belonging to Derek, you do hear voices and shuffling of feet as the Ponatowski squad is making their way into the upper chambers. So, you don't have long before they probably will show up. So, what would you like to do?
Um, First, I'm just gonna like pound my chest to get more water out.
Yes, right. Yeah. Um, yeah, after what you
If I
saw,
had,
Alistair, you're truly shocked that Derek is standing.
yeah,
As any other person
yeah.
would probably be
Ugh.
out.
If I had any medical training, I would be so eager to examine you. Now I just want someone else to do it because I'm nosy.
I just
Um,
just roll with the punches of
But
water.
yes,
yes, water
so
fueled punches.
How many gallons of water? V just shakes her head and
Reflected on it. We can't think about it.
says, "All right, so you guys, you do remember what the uh, third
For sure.
trial was?
Yeah.
This is
No, I think I forgot it while I was drowning.
this is entirely a out of character setup so that the one person with photographic uh, memory can tell us
Memory.
exactly what it is.
Mhm.
But yes,
Well, I actually had the text in front of me. I was looking over it.
yeah,
So it was when like female hear the story and everything. She's like, who was sent down here. She's holding hands with her husband she ran away from, but went back to for whatever reason. And they're
Yes.
going up to the sky. They're heading up towards that crescent moon. And then below on the island in the sea, we had those smaller figures with the pearls. Or both
Mhm.
holding, I think it's one pearl, and they're
It's
like
one big pearl, yeah.
that they're holding between them, and they're a mirror of the hand holding figures that are ascending. So I
Yes.
think my first thing is I want to look up and see if I see any crescent moon symbol or anything
Yeah,
similar.
sure. So you start searching up in the images that are carved into the ceiling, and you do finally find one, unlike the other sort of, splotchy
Hmm.
star shapes that are abstract up there. You do see a crescent moon up there. Just it doesn't look distinct otherwise than the shape of the carving.
Okay. And there's no maybe obvious sign of a pearl.
No, no, not there.
Okay,
You
okay,
do have the gears on that one wall that seem to be locking some sort of door. Um,
okay. And there's like no other mechanisms in the space. It's just the gears on the door itself.
that's right.
Is there no way to turn
Interesting.
the gears?
It looks like you
Yeah, could we
can.
fiddle with it?
It's not as complicated necessarily as a Swiss watch, but for Stone Age technology or whatever this is, it's pretty
Quite advanced.
complicated. You think you might be able to start puzzling it out if somebody wants to make like a science check, or enigmas would be good as
Yeah,
well.
we'll move it around and see what we think.
Yeah.
Um, this seems like V's area of expertise to like puzzle this out. I can maybe
It-
break it, but I couldn't solve
Yes,
it
right. Yeah. Here,
with my
just smash it
larceny.
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, V's going to try to trace back the as soon as the gears, like try to find something that connects the moon to the gears in some way, and just
Okay.
kind of draw a line from there, and just try to math it out in her head, basically.
Okay. So, what roll are you gonna make?
I'll call this science plus. Well, let's go with intellect. So that is science plus intellect. Give me a second. Don't have that anymore. Not going to light the world on fire, but that is one success.
Okay. So I'm gonna say it's not quite enough to figure out the whole mechanism, but it is enough to know that you think if you're able to link the this crescent moon carving by some means to some of the mechanisms here, it might start rotating the ceiling and then work the gears in a way that it will open it, the door.
Okay, so rotate the ceiling to, as an idea, getting the moon where it should be compared to
Mhm.
everything else, or whatever that position is.
Sure.
Uh,
As
try.
you're relating this to the others or puzzling it out, you do hear feet scuffing in the chamber back behind you
Mhm.
as Landry and his guys are starting to make their way through the Naga chamber.
Yeah. Did we when we sorry now. I know the first chamber you drop out of. Did we drop
Mhm.
out of the second one as well?
No, that one just opened a door at the end once he put the sword in
Got
the
it.
tail, and
Yeah.
that's
I
still
talked
in the tail. So
I talked about probably not being able to solve the puzzle, being able to break it. Can I break
yeah,
that door so they can't open it the same way? So it doesn't open,
sure,
even if it opens slower or opens more
yeah.
jaggedly, basically
Uh,
sabotage it.
Yeah, you could like try to find whatever's holding it up or whatever lowers it and try to act trip that
Hmm.
automatically to make it fall. If you do that though, you will have to stand almost in, it's a wide door in the back of the
Yeah.
chamber that you just came through. So you'll have to be like off to one side and they will probably see you as you're doing that.
Oh, I'm happy with them to see me. Either they see me after it
Okay.
opens or they see me after it breaks.
Yeah, it's true. So as you move towards it, you can see Landry point out, he says, "Hold on there. Just wait a second. Before you do that, we need to talk. This is a business transaction, or it could be a transaction of a different kind." And he points to some of the guys with pistols and rifles behind him.
Um, I I don't know if this might not do anything, but it could be funny,
Mhm.
which is I have a gift called Doppelganger.
Okay.
So uh I suppose it might not do much, but it might be interesting because by spending inspiration, I appear to be a person that the target expects to see.
Right.
Maybe that won't do anything. I just thought it might be fun.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it would be somebody. Let me think. He might
Like
think.
if
Okay.
he has a
Depends on
rival or
who
someone
who is he
he is used to
expecting
beating
to
him.
see. I
I
think he'll
don't
think.
know. You would have to decide,
I'll
and then I try to suss
say.
it out by his
I
reactions.
don't. I'll say he thinks you're Max Mercer.
Cool. Um, I think I will spend that inspiration then, and
Okay.
I
Sure.
think I'll just I will basically just kind of my go-to thing when I do this is I want to appear as a person of authority, and by appearing a
Hmm.
certain way, I want people to then expect a person of authority. So I think
Hmm.
just hoping that pans out,
Okay.
I'll approach and kind of maybe deepening my voice, giving more authority, and to distract him
Hmm.
while I work on whatever I'm doing, maybe in a way he can't see my hands.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
I'll
So
I'll
that sounds
distract him
like
essentially.
larceny. I'll say you get two enhancement because his attitude will be improved towards you because he thinks he's dealing with the head of the entire Aeon
Yeah.
Society. Says, "Well,
Uh,
Maxwell, meet
Lucky for you,
again."
you came found someone with the authority to do some business transactions.
Hmm.
And so right now, larceny, and I think I'll use cunning because we love
Okay.
being cunning in this moment.
Yep.
So that's 7, and then 2 enhancements you said
Mhm.
with the inspiration of it, and then we have the target of 8,
So I am gonna
if I can
roll for
find it.
Jackson. So he's gonna if he however many
100%.
successes he gets is what you have to beat, basically.
Yep.
And he is pretty good at
Ooh,
bargaining. So he gets 6.
I got 8 hits, I think.
Well, he only got 1. So so he is completely suckered. So like you can tell him whatever you want. You can learn information from him by spending those extra stunt successes. So you got what, 7 above him?
Yeah,
You can use it to improve his attitude towards you. You can influence him into doing something. What would you like to do with those 7 hits?
I think essentially what I want to do with it, I want to, I suppose, spend one just because I technically with the doppelganger thing, I don't get to know who they expect to see. I have to suss it out,
Right.
and I know we don't have
Okay.
the time to do a longer protracted thing where I could figure it out. But maybe I'll
Well, he
spend
just
some of
said
those to get that
Maxwell.
information. Oh
He
yeah,
says the name,
100%.
and you're like, oh, he must think I'm Maxwell Mercer because it's
Oh, perfect.
the
Never
guy.
mind then. I think I just want to influence him into slowing down, and so he
Okay,
wants to
sure.
keep in touch and keep talking. I have fast talk as well, so I think I'm just mixing
Okay.
all that together. I just want to keep him
Yeah,
just distracted and give everyone else time, and not let
right.
him realize that I'm sabotaging right in front of his face.
So
Yeah.
he's so excited to be able to talk to the Aeon Society leader, who he knows is
hmm
probably fabulously wealthy and influential.
hmm
And it makes him feel like he's speaking to a peer, even though he is not a
Yeah.
peer of Maxwell Mercer by anybody's standards. And he's going on about, yeah, well, these kind of situations can get explosive, you know what I mean? But personally, I'd rather find another way through this, Maxwell, and I think we could help each other out. So he continues in his corn-picking Southern lawyer voice,
Yeah.
telling you how this is going to work for both of you. And
hmm
meanwhile, Derek and V have time to start fiddling with the components of this room. Um, how do you want to try? What do you want to do, I guess? Like, do you want to try to get some sort of device that to link the crescent moon carving to the gears? You're gonna look for like a chain or make a chain, or do you want to try? When you have a rifle, potentially could do something as well. And Ismaiah will hand that off to Derek because he assumes you probably want something.
Um, I've got
Oh, that's
suspenders.
smoke.
Yeah, true.
Well, from what you were describing earlier, it sounded like you were sort of triangulating it in a way and trying to move around the
Yes.
gears to line stuff up, and then that's how it
Hmm.
opens. It's like, oh, lining it up like the picture was,
Hmm.
like it's in line, they're ascending, and then maybe
Yeah,
that pulls something up like it's the pearls or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that makes sense to what's going on, and doesn't involve anyone uh, using suspenders in this case. So
Mhm. Keep them on.
Who knows?
uh,
Might need them to hold up pearls.
yes,
How
Yeah.
many jewels?
we have to save our suspenders.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyways,
Hmm.
jeez. So yeah, V's gonna look at the ceiling and see if there's anything already there. And if not, how far away is the ceiling? It's pretty far. Like we're
It's pretty
talking.
high. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a large chamber with the dome, especially. So I'd say like 30 feet.
All right. Now, so V's uh gonna look at the gun and say, and there doesn't seem to be anything directly on the moon, the opposite of the
No,
sun.
no.
Uh, dang.
Now, do you have inspiration left? Because
Oh,
we're near the end of the
yes, I do.
time.
So yeah, go
I do
ahead.
have a hard out. So if you
Yeah,
want to spend, yep, you're a daredevil, right?
right. So I can spend the giant pile of
So
momentum we
you can
have.
spend 3, um, and then use that inspiration to have a Deus Ex Machina. So basically, that would be something that happens that either you stumble upon or you just find the solution, and I'll let you narrate what that is of opening the chamber and
uh,
potentially maybe even closing the door. Because actually, well, Alistair's working on that right now. So
right.
Yeah.
So I mean, part of me wants to do it. Nah, we are running out of time. So I'll just spend. Because I'm a daredevil. I can spend 3 momentum instead of spending 3
Yep.
inspiration to get that.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'll just dump. And if XP matters, that's spending half the inspiration pool, more than
Oh,
half.
sure.
So
Yep.
Hell yeah.
uh, so yeah, spend that, and her brain kind of looks at the various parts, and in her head she's put it together like, all right, if I move this, and she notices that one of the uh it were there pillars in there, or was it just kind of open? It was completely open, right? Like there's nothing really that connects the floor to the ceiling, right?
In this room?
In this room,
No, there's nothing
right?
right now.
I was getting confused with it. So instead, she's gonna notice something on the wall that looks like a uh, actually, yeah, it'll look kind of like the image of one of those children, and it's
Mhm.
holding. Uh, it's not holding the pearl, but it is like has its hands up as if that's where like one of the locations for one of these pearls, and she notices that it's like it actually twists. So she pulls it. She like pokes around with it and then twists it, and that starts to pull the sort of the gears of the ceiling to
Mhm.
face the right direction.
Okay. Yeah. So it rotates, clink, 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 and Jackson is chatting away with Alistair. Uh, Derek, you
Mhm.
see that the guys with the guns are not pointing them at you, but they're clearly like itchy trigger finger. They're getting ready to do something. And then let's have a Alistair roll, see if he can get that door. Actually, no, you had 7.
Yeah.
You can do it. You just do it. Just go
I
ahead and
just
describe
one.
what happens as you finish
Yeah.
fooling Jackson. Basically, you can shut the door on him,
I
essentially.
think sort of like the last piece of information I might be trying to get from you is like specifically who hired him.
Yeah.
Basically, kind of get a contact person that he had, if that's something that could come up
Oh,
in the
right.
conversation.
Sure.
And
That
it's like,
works.
who would I be superseding as your superior in this case?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because trying to get at it, they're like, well, of course you'd be working for me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then just as that's all happening, I'm just kind of hitting all the weak spots on the store. I'm pulling like kind of
Mm-hmm.
lodestones out, like weight-bearing things, and it's not meant to be a thing where it's completely blocked, completely impassable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to slow them down. And
Yeah.
so this long door that's been standing for ages, and there's like constant shifting floor on the other side. There's plenty of weak points, and I'm just like knocking them all out as he goes around
Yeah.
and talking in circles.
Yeah.
And it's just one point. It's just
Now,
innocuous. It's just like, oh, I managed to hit the one that needed to be hit. Like it was just a
yeah.
matter of time, and now it's
Yeah.
all collapsing.
So yeah, suddenly the mouth, so to speak, of the Naga that he's looking through to talk to you, he's like, "No, Mister is staying Sky. He's a reasonable man, but only if you." And then boom, and a big heavy uh earth-shattering clunk as the stone slams back down without any release mechanism and just hits the ground, and dust flies up. And at the same time, you look up, and inside the chamber you could see that there's some light shining down through the ceiling, and coming down from the ceiling is a chain on a container of some sort of ancient metal. And inside of it is a glowing orb that looks the size of a human head. And
Okay.
even if you don't have any special telluric senses, all of you automatically get a point of inspiration for being in the
Hell yeah.
presence of the pearl of the moon god.
Hey.
And you it comes to a rest at like arm level, and Ismaya steps up hesitantly towards it. Does somebody want to open the container and take the orb out, or do you want to let him take it?
I'll call out a last quip to the mercenary, being like, I'll
Hmm.
send an appointment with my secretary Mallory, using my own name. So if we come across him
Nice.
again, he knows my name.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um,
It's like, give me
and
that damn dynamite.
and I think I prefer to let Ismaya take it, but I
Okay,
won't stop
sure.
anyone from
Yeah.
taking a
Yeah.
step.
So
Uh,
he opens the sorry, what are you gonna say?
V would just say, "Be slow, don't."
Hmm. Sure.
We don't know how
So
unstable or stable it
he
is.
reaches out to touch it, and he puts his hands on it, and he's like, it's not burning. It's very bright, he says in Batak, and says, "Oh, I'm seeing something. Other places, other pearls like this one. They're from the stars." And then outside, you can hear what sounds like a hissing fuse. So, uh, I think what happens for our cliffhanger today is as you are realizing that you now have this pearl, there's an explosion.
Hmm.
And in the style of the old Republic movie serials, it looks for certain. We see like rubble falling down on your heads, and like you're doomed. Basically, whatever happened blew up the ceiling, dropped it on you. But next session, we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what the cliffhanger
Oh
here
yeah.
is. How do you escape this peril? And Jackson
This-
Landry's zealous use of dynamite
Yeah.
to get his revenge on you. All right. So thanks
Oh
for
yeah.
playing, guys.
It was
Yeah,
super fun.
Thanks for running.
Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. It's been a while since I've run this particular one shot, but it went pretty well. Sorry there wasn't more action, but that's fine. I
I'm
think
fine with it. I built a
yeah.
character who didn't want action.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that next session probably. Yeah, Derek can Derek can disappear and be assumed dead, and then at the end of that session, we'll see a hand pop up out of the rubble.
I thought he said he couldn't
Thumbs
die.
up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He'll get better. He had to die
But
for a little
you'll
while.
have one session a morning,
Yeah.
know, and then we'll come back roaring,
Well,
roaring
it's
back into
kind of funny
action.
because I can survive that, but I can't dig myself out from rubble.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
They're just waiting
Yeah,
for a
it's
rescue.
like, yeah. Well, that's where dramatic editing can help out.
Yeah.
Just have I don't know, an elephant or a convenient orangutan come down into the rubble and pick you out of there or something. All right. So thanks for playing. For XP, I think we're gonna do. How do you guys want to do it? Do we want to use the aspirations and that stuff? I'm good with setting a flat rate and just using the aspirations for guidance. But if you'd
Yeah.
rather go with the traditional way, then we can have the aspirations actually factor
I
in.
think a flat rate until we know if we're going to continue long term
Yeah.
makes the most
Right.
sense.
All right. Well, let's
Yeah.
call it 5.
That's fine by me.
5 XP for
5.
everybody.
Coolio.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Gracias.
And
Thank you.
join us again next episode for. Oh no, I don't have a title for the next episode.
Episode
Escape
2.
from Temple of the Moon
Episode
God.
2, yeah. Escape from the Temple of the Moon God is a good one. All right.
All right.
See you then.
See you.
Bye. All right. Are we counting out?